Amina, dua zimeitikiwa. Hashtuti nije
Youth in business. We're going to discuss the problems, the challenges, and the solutions to those problems that youth face nowadays in business. Because each youth is, I don't want to get employed, I want to get my own job, I want to do anything that I want. Sitaki kuamka 8, nataka ikifika saa 10 nitoke, nataka ikifika saa 8 nitoke. Sitaki kushautiwa. So we are going to discuss that today. I've got two amazing guests. The first guest is a lady who understands business from the theoretical part. She has gone to these business coaches, she has gone to these business seminars, and I love Biashara in a theoretical part. But my second guest is one practicing business from like the practical part of business and our own Biashara. So we shall get to know more about her. So tune today into 360 degrees and we shall give you the juice and we shall learn together, because in this show it's for entertainment and we learn and we understand the world of business. I'm your host, Manon Mushiri. Tune in today. And as promised, I have my guest today. I would like her to introduce herself, then we go deep into the discussion about youth in business. Hi, madam.
Hello.
What's your name? Introduce yourself, please.
I am Frida Madanchi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in business?
No, I'm not a business person, but I do attend some business mentorship class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which are some of the businesses? Which are some of the, like I would say, challenges facing youth in business today?
We have a lot of challenges facing, especially the youth, because one of the main challenges I've noticed with the youth is that most of them are going into business because they thought they saw their friends or their relatives or their neighbors going into the same business.
Yeah.
So they didn't get the time to think or research about this business before going into the business. They only saw the aspect of the profits, the money, the cars. Yeah, and they ended up going into the wrong business.
So waliona pesa.
Yeah.
Like sisi, kama Gen Z, we want money, we want to get rich.
Exactly.
We want to drive those GLEs, those Rovers. So one of them, so you are saying one of them, yet we see the way other businesses may progress.
Yeah.
So we are overambitious.
Overambitious, and I'll say facade.
Okay.
That's the word I'm gonna use, facade.
Okay.
They only see the outside, but they don't know what's inside. They don't know the sweat.
They don't know the challenges.
They don't know what the amount of time that it took this person to grow and become successful. So they only see the facade.
Then they just look at the money. Nataka niitwa CEO, niitwa manager.
Exactly, yeah. Hawafikiri like kufika huko juu inatakiwa mtu aende step by step.
Yeah.
And ufike huko juu.
And what are the other vitu zingine ni gani?
Challenge nyingine nime notice ama nimeona na youth wenye wako kwa business yenye zina fail is they went into business being so how will I say it? Overconfident.
Okay.
That's the word I'm going to use. Like mtu anaona anaweza maybe amezoea, maybe ni mtu ako unique, maybe huko uni alikuwa anauza maybe sweets ama anauzia watu yani tu vitu tudogo. So like maybe alikuwa anapata pesa hiyo kidogo na akakuwa overconfident, like anaweza handle any business. So anaingia kwa business kubwa akiwa overconfident. Anaona I was selling sweets in campus.
So I can manage
maybe selling cars or selling nini without going into research
and knowing about it. Kwani huoni kuwa see confidence is what builds a man?
It is
confident.
No, confidence ni mzuri. Inafaa mtu actually akuwe confident ndio self esteem yako pia isikumalize.
But overconfidence is bad.
Overconfidence with no research. Like kuna this nini saying that I always say, like mastery isn't found in a day. It is consistent.
Mastery isn't found in a day. It's consistent.
It is consistent.
Okay.
So
that's a very good nini for our viewers. Mastery isn't
found in a day. It is consistent.
Okay. There are some of maybe my friends. I'm young, so wananiambia aku sina pesa ya kuweka business. Like kama saa hii mimi ukiniambia nikutolee 1 million labda nitafutie mahali niuze vitu. Those hakuna. So is it a challenge? Like not having those funds, inadequate funds.
It is a challenge, especially now with the current situation in the country. Kama like the government will be considering, banks, they give youths this money startups, easy loans, za kwanza biashara. But the problem is, the interest rate is too high, considering this is just a Gen Z.
It's a startup.
Exactly. Now maybe your business, of course, business in a take time to shake. So like, how do you want this guy who is just a Gen Z, fresh from the college campus, but one a lot on him?
Which other challenge do you think us as the youth we are passing through? I have to put myself there.
Another challenge with people is, I'll say, getting tired, giving up too early. Maybe do business inataka time ndio ishike. Hawezi niambia hata mama mboga akifungua nini kiosk sahi hata pata in a day ati customers wengi wenye watamaliza stock ya hiyo siku. So lazima build your relationship na customers, lazima uwe patient. Just be patient, because that business, it will eventually catch up.
And as I promised, I have my second guest, a business mongol, Kenyatta mzima, kijana kona pesa, and he has understood the business. So we are going to discuss about the solutions. Which solutions does it seem fit for people like him to undertake business and to understand business? Business Mongol. Would you please introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
All right. Thank you, Malone. My name is Benson Barak. I'm an entrepreneur and a businessman. A successful businessman. To be precise, a successful businessman.
Because you can be a businessman
and become unsuccessful.
You're getting losses.
I'm a successful businessman.
A successful businessman. So a while ago, I was speaking to a lady. She has gone to this. She understands business from a theoretical part. Ameenda kwa hizi seminars, hizi sijui sunazielewa zile business coaches. So we were discussing the challenges, but sasa you, because unaelewa from the practical part, so those challenges and some which you are facing, we are going to discuss about the solutions which unaona zikiekwa either from the government aspect, from you individually, from anything, hata kama ni mvua iache kunyesha. Which solutions do you think zitakusaidia?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We have so many solutions to these problems we are facing in business.
Okay.
But solution number one, it starts with an individual.
An individual.
What do I mean by starting with an individual?
Okay.
You become acquainted with the business you are doing.
You become acquainted with the business you are doing.
Yeah. And by becoming acquainted with the business you are doing, you first of all understand the market.
You understand the market.
Understanding the market means you understand the physical place and customers. Customers are the market.
Yeah.
Number two,
okay,
you have to liaise with government regulations.
You don't fanya mambo chini.
Yeah, huwezi tuanza business like one morning you just wake up, you start a business.
Okay.
By liaising with government regulations, you have to seek for approval. This business approval.
A business permit.
Business permit.
Okay.
Things to do with the licensing. You have to understand that if any business that is conducted in Kenya, someone must pay a tax.
Tax obligation.
We have to liaise with the tax obligation.
Yeah.
And number three, which is fundamental, is you have to understand amount of capital you need.
The amount of capital you need
to start a business. And to run a business. And sometimes amount needed to run a business may be slightly higher than the amount needed to start a business. So those are things you have to put into place before starting a business. Or these are one of the solutions we have to the problem we are facing in business.
The first one starts with the individual.
Yeah, understanding the business.
You be acquainted with the business.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So I hope my viewers, they'll get acquainted first with the business.
Yeah, so they don't just wake up one morning and somebody just start a business.
You don't know what is going on.
You don't know what is going on. You have to understand
your business.
Yeah.
Okay. Another solution.
And another solution, savings. I always put it like saving saves you.
Saving saves you.
Yeah. That is my that is my slogan.
Your slogan.
Saving saves you. So by saving, what I mean, let's say you buy a good at let's say a buying price of 500 Kenyan shillings.
Okay.
Then you sell it at 800. Practically, that is a profit of 300 shillings. So as a businessman, I always say that for every profit you get, at least take 30% into saving.
For every profit you get, take
at least 30% into saving. So if for example it's a profit of 300 Kenyan shillings, that is how much are you going to save for a 300? 30%. That is around 100. Around 100 Kenyan shillings. So by saving, business, we have some challenges. Maybe you are using a machine and then the machine breaks down. Where will you get this money from? Urgently, you'll have to run to your savings. You take some money from your savings to run the business.
So practically, according to your slogan, it will save you.
Yeah, saving saves you. Yeah. Because sometimes business doesn't just run smoothly. Sometimes you may find that at this particular day or week or month of the year, sales have gone down. And then, by being a businessman, you may have some people who are depending on you. Maybe you want to pay school fee, you have to pay for rent, some things to do with taxes. So if you don't have that money from the business, you'll have to extract it from your savings. Yes.
Good insights. That's why I brought a practical bit for the solution. Unajua challenges unaweza zisoma kwa kitabu, but so for solutions they have to be a practical thing.
Yeah,
that's why I brought you, because from the way you are saying things and from the way you are doing, after with the solutions alone, someone can dive into, because you are saying it like your first solution was individual,
becoming acquainted.
You like it's an individual, but the second one you have said it's saving. Sometimes it's individual, it's also external, because you hire what you will buy some things about equipment.
Solution number 3.
Okay.
Solution number 3, I'll go for loans. Yeah. You know, Malo, many people take loans for personal uses. For example, and this comes from a peer pressure perspective.
Yeah.
Somebody takes a loan because someone has bought an iPhone,
or you want to go to
Dubai.
Yeah.
So in a bank, you take a loan, you go to Dubai. Then after that, this cut and run game starts.
The financial.
Now you become the rat and the financiers become the cat.
Yeah.
Now you are chasing each other.
Yeah.
But what I usually advise business, especially those who want to venture into business but have not ventured yet, do not take a huge amount of loan for a startup business.
Don't take a huge amount of loan for a startup.
For a startup business.
Okay.
Let's say you want to start a business of selling eggs.
Yeah.
We understand how much does one crate of eggs? Around 500.
Let's say 400. Let's say 500.
Okay, let's say 500.
Yeah.
Then, for example, you want to start with 2 crates of eggs. That's 1,000 bob.
Okay.
Plus some other small expenses. That is,
let's say
1,500.
Okay.
Then you go to a bank.
Yeah.
You take a loan of 10,000. Is it realistic?
No,
it's not realistic.
Yeah.
So you start by taking a small amount of loan, because loans, they also work as saving. They will save you. Loans alone.
Loans can save you.
Yeah. And another thing you have to keep in mind before taking a loan, prosper in their business, you have to go for loans just charging small amount of interest.
Okay.
We have legitimate banks like Equity, KCB. We have cooperative. Those are legitimate lending institutions. You can
These
go,
banks.
Yeah, you can go to a bank, take a loan, and then they will charge you an interest that is fair. Let's say 4%, 1.5%. That is relatively fair.
It's good.
Yeah.
I also have a friend of mine who was telling me it's a course. Even can we trust them, or we should go for this big bank?
From my perspective, I only trust banks.
You only trust
Yeah. And maybe Safaricom. Kitu kama mshwari inakuanga fair 1.5%.
Yeah,
it's relatively fair.
That's good.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. It was nice having you, and that we call it the end of today's session. We had two amazing guests. The first one was a lady who had the theoretical part of business. She has attended webinars, she has attended she has gone to these business forums, but we needed the practical bit for us to understand more. That's where we introduced a male business person, the second guest, who has been practicing business here on campus. We have learned a lot. We have understood the solution that may be taken for us as the youth to be into the business world, to understand the business world, and to know the business world in details. He has said, savings will save you later. So I urge all of you, let's save for a better business tomorrow. I was your host, Malon Mushiri. Tune in for next week's episode so that you get to know more on the business world. And from 360 degrees, from every angle, nothing is left out. Thank you.
All right, a very good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us this morning right here on the broadcast. You are watching KUTV Rise Today, specifically Biashara Tuesday, show that keeps you informed and updated on everything business, entrepreneurship, and in leadership. That is, if your intentions is to become the best version of yourself, you're just at the right place or at the right time joining us right here on Biashara Tuesday. Being a Tuesday, we have so much in store for you with regards to business, entrepreneurship, and of course the state of the nation. That is what we do here on this broadcast. What you just saw on your screen was business conversations of young people who are trying to find their way or just trying to put their foot forward when it comes to business, and that is what we push forward for in this broadcast. My name is Anyango, Sylvia. Welcome, and this morning we shall be having conversations on the state of the nation later on, and we shall be joined by Andrew Kandie, who is a youth representative. We shall also be joined by our very own Ojwang Mariam or Vincent Maina. That is the name you'll find on the ballot if you're a voter of Roysambo. He's an aspiring member of County Assembly of Kawa West in the year 2025. So those are our panelists who shall be joining us to talk of the state of the nation. And talking of the state of the nation, a lot is happening in the country. We had a leader who slept in police custody. We call them BNBs. So one of our leaders slept in a BNB following altercations or disagreements that transpired yesterday at a different TV station, and he was later taken in by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations officers and was in custody following utterances that were made on Sunday, or let's just say over the weekend, and they call it incitement or political incitement. We shall talk more about that later on as we shall be talking about the state of the nation. It's also a day that Kenya, the NSE, has crossed the mark of 4 trillion shillings. So it's a win for those who are making their investment in that sector. And of course, this is in relation to what we really talked so much about when the government was selling its stakes of the Kenya pipeline. And of course, there's also the Family Bank who was joined in its shares being sold at Nairobi Securities Exchange. That is another development that is quite interesting that you need to note in the country. And of course, we cannot forget to mention the 2027 polls. We can't mention that without these recent alignments that occurred in the country yesterday. That was the Azimio coalition meeting. Right now, several leaders have been courted to join the Azimio coalition. This is something that is, we are yet to see what will transpire following the death of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga last year. So we are yet to see what will transpire in politics without Baba, how it shall be in the coming days. So this is a coalition that is forming. Remember, there's also another one, the broad-based government, which Oburu's tongue slipped and said bread-based. So That one is also another coalition that we are expecting to be seeing it come forth. We had the Luo elders coming forward to say that they're rallying behind the broad-based government. That is where Raila Odinga left them, and they're not leaving the same. So a lot is happening in the country in as far as politics is concerned. In the health sector as well, there is the issue of SHA and the payout of some amount of money to a non-institution. So that is something to also note in the health sector. There's a lot going on in the country, and we shall be talking more about that later on this coverage as we shall be tackling the state of the nation on newspaper review. But right now I want us to take a look at what is happening on the roads and of course the weather situation in different parts of the country. All right, it is exactly 32 minutes past 7 a.m. and I'm looking at traffic in different parts of Nairobi, or let's just say different roads leading to Nairobi Central Business District, because it's a time when most people are heading to town. Beginning from where we are, this is Thika Road, and today there's a little bit of traffic around Garden City. I don't know what is happening around Garden City as you head towards All Soaps, but it's not that heavy. It just begins from around TRM all the way to All Soaps. Then it moves quite smoothly. It catches with you. If you're using Thika Road, that will catch up with you as you approach the Muthaiga interchange. So traffic on Thika Road today is not as heavy as we are always witnessing each and every day. Just some patches around Muthaiga interchange and just as you cross Thika Road. And also looking at different areas, those people coming from Kangundo Road, your road looks quite okay, except for some few stops where there are stages. Those people using the Eastern Bypass, wale watu wanatoka Utawala, your road is, there is a little bit of traffic even as you join towards wale watu wanatoka Outer Ring Road. I think it's Taj more around that place. There is also traffic around that place. Those using Mombasa Road, the road today looks quite okay. Something that is unusual on the roads this morning is those people using Jogoo Road. Today Jogoo Road there is quite a little bit of traffic, especially as you get towards town, kule downtown, around Gikomba Market, unapoingia town kutumia barabara ya kule chini. So if you are using Jogoo Road, you'll be staying on the road for quite some time as you get to town around Gikomba Market. So if you can use an alternative to get to the Nairobi Central Business District, well and good for you. And of course this you can branch and join Mombasa Road and get to town in some other ways. Those people coming from the upper part of the town, watu wanatoka kule juu Strathmore, watu wanatoka kule juu Madaraka Estate, areas around Nyayo Stadium. That is the only area that I'm seeing traffic along that route. Something else to note, another area that you need to note about traffic is those people coming from areas around Mbagathi kule juu at the junction that's around Daystar University. So if you're using that junction or you'll be passing through that, there's a little bit of traffic even as you get to that point. And unapoteremka huku juu Hospital Road to Haile Selassie Avenue, there's a little bit of traffic as well. So if you're coming from Upper Hill, those are the areas that you will find traffic this morning. And of course, as you join Mombasa Road, that's another area that you expect to see traffic this morning. Apart from that, other areas leading to Nairobi Central Business District this morning, they all looked quite okay. Wale watu wanatoka kule Ngong around Junction Mall today, the road looks quite okay. So if you are coming from those areas, the traffic is quite all right this morning. That is of the traffic update as of 7:36 this morning. Let's take a look at the weather situation in different parts of the country. To set us off, maybe we can tackle the weather in the coastal part of the country. Mombasa right now, it is 23 degrees Celsius. It feels like 25 degrees Celsius. And of course, the day will partly be sunny. So it's a warm day in Mombasa. Precipitation is at 20% chances, but kule jioni. So today in Mombasa, it is a very warm day in Mombasa. So if you're in the coastal part of the country, a good weather. In the Nyanza region, in Homa Bay, just like Mombasa, 22 degrees Celsius, and it feels like 25 degrees Celsius. 40% chances of rainfall at around noon. So at around noon hapo ukiteremka kwenda kule jioni hadi 5, there is a 30 to 40% chances of precipitation, and the day will mostly be sunny apart from those times that the rainfall is likely to be raining in the county. Moving forward to the Rift Valley in Eldoret, right now it feels like it's 14 degrees Celsius. It feels like it. And there's also 40% chances of rainfall, 40 to 70% chances of rainfall. The percentage increases from noon all the way to 6 in the evening. The peak it's at 3 to 4 p.m. So in Eldoret, from around 4 p.m, it will definitely be raining. So the day will mostly or partly be sunny, but around those time, it will definitely be raining in Eldoret. And moving forward to the western part of the country, in Kakamega, it is 18 degrees Celsius, and it will also be partly sunny, and the rainfall is expected to be raining from around 4 p.m. At 60% chances. So in Kakamega, it will definitely be raining from around 4 p.m. in the evening. They will be receiving rainfall in the area. So that is off the weather updates. Just to mention, of the northern part of the country, in Isiolo, it is 21 degrees Celsius. It feels like it. The day will mostly be cloudy, and there is no sign of precipitation in the northern part of the country. That is specifically, we are talking about Isiolo. In Kiambu County, close to us, it is 15 degrees Celsius. It feels like it. The day will mostly be cloudy with 20% chances of precipitation, 10% chances of precipitation, so it might not rain in Kiambu County. The day will mostly be cloudy, so if you carry yourself a warm attire, that will be good for you, because if it's mostly cloudy, the sunshine is not shining that much, so it is a cold day in Kiambu County. And finally, from where we are in Nairobi County, it is 16 degrees Celsius. It feels like it, just like Kiambu. It will mostly be cloudy throughout the day. So if you can carry yourself a warm outfit or something warm for yourself, that is also great, because there is 10% chances of precipitation. So that means it might not rain today in Nairobi. That is off the weather update in different parts of the country. All right, now let's take a look at different newspapers that we're having this morning. To set us off, we'll begin by Business Daily. And like I mentioned earlier, NSE rises above 4 trillion Kenyan shillings milestone for first time. This mark was noted yesterday, and it stood at 4.013 trillion at the close of trading yesterday. And of course, it gained 20.9 billion yesterday. So NSE is doing quite okay. This is after several things that transpired over the past several months that we've had, including the recent share of Pipeline Company, and of course the Family Bank that really rose the buying and selling of shares at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Something also that you need to note on the Business Daily is that Airtel Safaricom locked in business wallet price war, and this is after yesterday Airtel launched an app or an application that will allow their users to have separate accounts, just like Safaricom has Pochi la Biashara, where you can separate your funds and personal funds and business funds. The same thing is happening to Airtel. They have also developed the same, and of course this is currently the network providers are really competing right now. Airtel says that it's in partnership with X, with what is this that Elon Musk is in relation to Elon Musk, that name is gone, but it's in partnership with the same to ensure that Starlink, I got the name Starlink, so it's in partnership with that to ensure that network accessibility is very efficient even in the rural parts of the country. So that is a development with Airtel right now competing with Safaricom, of course, on the same line. Something else to note is that banks see CBK rate holding amid Middle East uncertainty. I think we are having peace in the country because the government is trying on that. Otherwise, we could be having really tough conversations about, the dollar has risen over the shilling and all that, turned political, but I think we're cruising nicely. Something else to note is that Tuju's second current property is set for auction, and they're saying that a second prime property owned by former cabinet minister Raphael Tuju is set for auction, and the East African Development Bank steps up debt recovery. So that is something that you should also note that has been given prominence on the Business Daily. Moving forward, we have the Star. The Star talking of Kenya leads Africa in milk yield as meat exports rise by 87%. So that is a win for the Kenyan market. This is despite what is happening in the Middle East, who are our biggest buyers of meat products in the country. And despite all that is happening, Kenya is still leading with a rise of 87%. So that is commendable. In politics, they are talking of a threat to unity. Sifuna's political rise to upset opposition pecking order as polls draw near. That is in relation to politics, what is really happening in the country. I'll not talk more about that. We'll have more about that when we shall be talking of the state of the nation. And features that are given prominence on the Star, they are talking of from Dusty Village to Machakos, from Dusty Village in Machakos rather to PhD, Nzomo beats the odds. They're also talking of exclusive interview that they have where they're saying that chief anti-HIV campaigner sees clear path to vaccine and Kenya's role in it. Those are stories that are given prominence on the Star. Moving forward, gazeti la Taifa Leo wanazungumzia masuala ya siasa, yamepewa kipaumbele katika gazeti hilo. Wanasema kwamba Azimio yalenga Gachagua, na wanasema kwamba muungano wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya umeanza mchakato wa kujijenga upya kuelekea uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka 2027 kwa kuvikaribisha vyama vipya na kuanzisha mazungumzo na makundi ya kisiasa yanaongozwa na aliyekuwa naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua na seneta wa Nairobi Edwin Sifuna. Wanasema kwamba wakiongozwa na njia ya mtandao na rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta, viongozi hao walikubaliana kufanyia muungano huo mabadiliko makubwa. So a lot is happening in the opposition. The cloud is gathering, preparing for a grand coalition. But I don't know if you're reading too much into this, but critics say, or political analysts say, that the opposition are wasting time. It's time that they're supposed to be looking for votes, but they are now working on structures. We have a year to the general election because we're already officially in the month of August. So we have a year to the next general election. So the clouds are gathering. That is given prominence katika gazeti la Taifa Leo. Vile vile wanazungumzia masuala ya afya, wanasema kwamba bima ya afya kwa watalii yapingwa mahakamani. Wadau wasema hitaji hilo litafungia wageni wengi nje. That is on matters health. Tuju stories also given prominence. Wanasema kwamba Tuju azidiwa na masaibu. Vile vile wanazungumzia masuala ya kisiasa pia. Wanasema Kaguchia atetewa na upinzani. Mbunge huyo wa Mukurweini alikamatwa jana kufuatia matamshi yake tata. So that is something that we shall also be talking about deeply later on this coverage, as we shall be talking of the state of the nation. Financial standard, they're talking of court fight reopens. Kenya Re's history of boardroom wars, that is given prominence on financial standard. And MyGov, they're talking of major projects turn cost into investment hub, that is on MyGov. It's a pullout on the star. So if you want to get MyGov, it's a pullout. You get the star, and then it's a pullout where it has government tenders and BN jobs opportunities. And remember, it's a Tuesday, so the star is free. You can get that for free. The People Daily, they're talking of predictions of counties that will determine the president in the next election. They're saying that 10 counties that will decide Kenya's next president. They have given the counties there. Key counties include Nairobi with above 2 million votes, Kiambu above 2 million votes, Nakuru 1.9 million votes, Meru around 900,000 votes, Kakamega the same, Machakos with about 700,000 votes, Bungoma with about 738,000 votes, Kisii the same, Mombasa the same, and finally Murang'a among the top 10. Those are counties with more than 600,000 votes that registered voters, let's not say votes because maybe not of them will be voting, registered voters. So they are counted among the elephants in the room that hold a bigger say when it comes to the 2027 general election, saying 10 counties that will decide Kenya's next president. There is a rumor going around that Luos don't vote, and right now that Baba is normal, it will take a very great effort to get them to voting stations. So I don't know how that will happen for the broad-based government, because they're saying that sasa the whole Nyanza is for President William Ruto. But we'll get to have more of that later on as we talk about the state of the nation. That is the newspapers that you're having this morning. Of course, majirani wetu kule Tanzania, gazeti la Mwananchi wanasema kwamba Samia ataka sekta binafsi iwe bunifu. Vilevile wanasema kwamba safari ya mama aliyepambana na uhai wake ICU kwa siku 339. Vilevile wanasema kwamba sukari ya dimika Zanzibar yauzwa kwa kificho wa shilingi 5,000. That is Tanzanian shillings. Shilingi 5,000, 5,000 kwa kilo. That is in Tanzania matters economy. That is what you're having in from our neighbors. Vilevile gazeti la The Citizen wanasema kwamba 1 trillion dream gets 24 pledges. Those are stories that you can follow up on our foreigners. Those are the newspapers of Tanzania. Finally, I forgot to mention, sorry, we have the Bold newspaper. They're talking also of the Grand Coalition, something that I've also mentioned. We have the Daily Nation. They're talking of Shah Mystery Farm paid 1.2 billion. We mentioned the same, and Maswala ya Azimio, so still the same things that we mentioned, but that is what we have with the newspapers this morning. Right now, we'll take a look at news updates this morning. All right, now let's take a look at what is shaping news. President William Ruto and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi have urged religious leaders to take a leading role in promoting peace, dialogue, and national unity ahead of the next general election. The two leaders made the appeal during a meeting with thousands of members and leaders of the Friends Church, commonly known as Quakers, at State House, Nairobi. Brian Oma starts us off this morning with that report.
President William Ruto defended his administration's development agenda for another round. He cautioned against politics that divide the nation, maintaining that elections should strengthen democracy rather than undermine national cohesion.
Jameni, musikubali tupelekwe mahali ya karata ya pata potea. Watu ambao hawana mpango yoyote, hawajapanga chochote, hawana maono, hawana mpango, hawana sera, hawana agenda. Tusiende kule, tutapotea. Yes, kila kiongozi bwana apimwe na ile kazi amefanya. Haiwezekani kwamba umekuwa Kenya hii ukirandaranda miaka 40 hakuna chochote umefanya alafu unasema tukupatie uongozi.
The head of state highlighted progresses in agriculture, healthcare, education, infrastructure and job creation, saying these sectors form the foundation of his administration transformation agenda. He reiterated his government's ambition of steering Kenya towards upper middle income economic status within the next decade and urged Kenyans to support leaders with clear, proven leadership.
Uchumi ya Kenya sasa, I can speak with authority. Uchumi ya Kenya sasa ni dhabiti. Hatuna tishio la nchi yetu kukosa kulipa madeni. Hatuna tena tishio ya sisi kukosa pesa ya exchange rate ama ya kulipa ile vitu yote tunahitaji. We have enough foreign exchange in our economy. And we have stabilized the economy of Kenya.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi called on the church to remain a voice of wisdom and reconciliation, warning against divisive politics and ethnic intolerance, saying national unity remains the strongest foundation for Kenya's stability and prosperity.
The leadership of this nation is not about ethnic polling. It's not about tribalism. It is about safeguarding the lives of all the 56 million people in Kenya. And that is the responsibility that we bestowed on President William Ruto through the ballot.
With political campaigns steadily gathering momentum, the meeting underscored the growing role of faith-based institutions in shaping public discourse. As leaders continue to compete for political support, attention now turns to whether calls for unity and dialogue will help ease the country's increasingly charged political atmosphere. Brian Ouma, KUTV.
Now, as the country gradually shifts its focus to the 2027 general election, the political future of Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki is increasingly becoming a subject of intense debate. Although Kindiki has repeatedly affirmed his loyalty to President William Ruto, maintaining that he remains the president's running mate, the tussle for the second-in-command seat has placed his position under fresh scrutiny, as Vincent Karoli now tells us in the following report.
Kwa mara ya mwisho, wananchi wa Kenya ni fire si fire.
Several influential Orange Democratic Movement ODM leaders, including Cabinet Secretary Hassan Joho, Mabei Governor Gladys Wanga, Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya and Kisii Governor Simba Arati, are being touted as potential contenders for Deputy President's position, intensifying speculation over who could join President Ruto on the 2027 presidential ticket.
Of you, Governor, what I know of this lady, mpaka saa zingine halali ninaenda kwake, mimi nikisavu wageni juu ninafunga leso, ninasavu wageni kama MP wake, alafu ninamwambia please ma'am, pumzika leo. Ananiwacha hapo jikoni, mimi ninamuona kwa mtandao, ndio huyo alishafika sijui rally gani. Huyu ni mama atawafanyia kazi na roho yake yote. Wangapi wanafuata Dr. Oburu party leader?
ODM leader Oburu Odinga says the party is determined to secure the deputy president's position in the 2027 general election, arguing that ODM deserves the role because of its expected contribution to the next government.
We are not going to leave anything out. Those who thought that we are not going to demand for deputy president, that is one of them. We must demand because it is not the only issue, but it is one of them.
ODM members have continued to express strong interest in securing the deputy president's position ahead of the next general election. Speaking during a political rally in Turkana on July 29, 2026, ODM Deputy Party Leader Simbarati said the party is ready to take up the deputy president's seat, arguing that ODM deserves an equal share in the next government. Meanwhile, in Kisii on Sunday, Simbarati was officially endorsed by a section of ODM supporters as their preferred candidate for deputy president position. The move has sparked mixed reaction among political leaders and residents, with many now debating its implications for the party's future and the formation of the next government.
In which the ODM party is expected to support a broad-based political coalition rather than field its own political candidates, we respectfully submit that His Excellency the President William Samoei Ruto should be considered as the coalition's presidential candidate, while His Excellency Governor Paul Simbarati should be considered for the position of the deputy president as the coalition's running mate. We believe such a ticket would represent a powerful message of national unity, inclusivity, regional balance, and political stability.
The contest for ODM's deputy president slot is gathering pace, with party leaders openly backing different candidates, while Hassan Joho continues to be viewed as a leading contender from the Coast region. Junet Mohammed, during a recent political rally in Malava, endorsed Wycliffe Oparanya for the position. However, speaking in a recent interview on a local television station, Oparanya dismissed the claims, describing the reports as mere speculation.
Mimi sijaongea juu ya mtu. Mkiona sasa mtu ananitusi, mjue nilikuwa naongea juu ya huyo mtu. Mimi sijaongea juu ya mtu, lakini mkiona mtu ananitusi, mjue huyo ndio mimi nilikuwa naongea juu ya. Ukiona mtu ananitusi kesho, ujue huyo ndio nilikuwa naongea juu yake. Kwa hiyo machache, asanteni sana. Sasa nataka kuchukua nafasi hii kualika the incoming deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, Wycliffe Oparanya.
Kindiki and his allies have dismissed ODM push for the deputy president seat, with Kindiki maintaining that the position is untouchable.
Kiti ya naibu wa rais wa taifa la Kenya haiko wazi. Kiti ya naibu wa taifa ya Kenya ni ya Profesa Kithure Kindiki and nobody can touch us. Na tunasema kama ni chama ODM, hata sisi tuko tayari kuwa uko ndani ya hiyo chama, na tuendelee kusupport Daktari William Ruto, na mwache kutukera. Hii maneno ikome. Ama namna gani jamani? Hamwezi kuwa mnaamuka kila siku kiti ya naibu rais. Tena kiti ya naibu rais. Kila asubuhi kiti ya naibu rais. Kwani hiyo kiti iko wazi?
Vincent Karoli, KUTV.
All right, looks like the shoe fitted someone. Now moving on. Mukurweini Member of Parliament John Kaguchia was earlier yesterday arrested by detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations of alleged incitement remarks made during a political rally in Kieni, Nyeri County. Kaguchia was arrested after spending the night at the Royal Media Services offices in Nairobi, where he claimed security officers were pursuing him. The arrest has been condemned by opposition leaders who termed this as selective justice, while insisting that all leaders should be held equally accountable under the law.
By the government structure and machinery on my political utterances that I did on Saturday in one of the political rallies, which I saw were being pushed as being inflammatory. You see, that is an issue that falls under the purview of the NCIC as a commission, and that is an independent commission. I have not received any summons from them. All I have seen is social media posts, which of course were also twisted.
Social media posts from who?
From Itumbi, some of the other government-leaning MPs, particularly from Nyeri and from Mount Kenya region. And some of those tweets and some of those social media posts that were being posted were also twisted to fit into a certain narrative that was being pushed.
All right, now moving forward, health services in majority of hospitals nationwide were paralyzed, with nurses in Kisumu and Kenyatta National Hospital staging protest in Kisumu Central District and Kenyatta National Hospital respectively. The nurses are demanding the implementation of their collective bargaining agreement, CBA, confirmation of universal health coverage workers, UHC, employment on permanent and pensionable terms, and the resolution of other pending grievances. Now, the strike has affected operations in public hospitals, leaving many patients unable to access essential medical services. Now, still on matters health workers strike in Embu County entered its second week yesterday. Striking nurses have accused the county government of failing to honor a return to work formula. The unions say unresolved salary arrears, delayed promotions, and other unmet commitments have left them with no option but to continue the industrial action until their demands are addressed. Yvonne Shirisha with the details.
In Embu County have entered the second week of their strike, accusing the county government of breaking a return to work agreement. The county had agreed to settle salary arrears in 2 installments through a supplementary budget. This is according to officials from Kenya National Union of Nurses and Midwives and the Kenya National Union of Pharmaceutical Theologists. However, they assert that the supplementary budget was never factored in, despite this year's budget allocating approximately 83 million shillings for their payment.
Tulikuwa tumeagree ilipwe in 2 installment. The first one ilikuwa supplementary budget ambayo haikuweza kukuwa factored in kwa supplementary budget ya 2025-2026. So waliweza kutuelezea kwamba kwa budget ya hii mwaka wameallocate 83 million ambayo wameweka kwa budget ya hii mwaka. Ile ya supplementary budget hawakuweza kuweka. So tunajiuliza hiyo pesa tulikuwa tumeagree na wakasign ya kwamba wataallocate kwa supplementary budget.
The officials further alleged that health workers are threatened whenever they raise concerns over their welfare. They also claim that issues contained in the consent agreement, including promotion, employment, and other labor matters, have not been implemented.
Tukiibua haya maneno, tunapewa vitisho ya kwamba sijui hawa wanasapoti ule mrengo wa siasa, sijui wako wapi. Sisi tungetaka tuambie governor kinanga ubanga, kwa sababu tuliona statement yake ya kwanza katika mtandao ya kwamba ametulipa mshahara. Sisi hatuko nje kwa sababu ya mshahara, tuko nje kwa sababu ya issues ambazo siko kwa consent, na kwa consent hakuna kitu kama mshahara.
The union has dismissed claim that the strike is politically motivated, insisting their demands are purely professional and aimed at improving service delivery and workers' welfare.
Sisi hatuko katika mgomo kwa sababu ya mshahara. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri awe anaelewa wafanyikazi wake kule kwa ground ni nini ambacho wanachopitia. Asituhusishe sisi na siasa. Sisi hatutabui mambo ya hiyo siasa iko katika nchi yetu, sijui 1 term, sijui 2 term, sijui 0 term, sijui nini. Sisi we are professionals, na tangu tuanjiriwe tumeona presidents wengi wamekuja wametuacha tukiwa civil servants. Tumeona governors wengi wamekuja wametuacha tukiwa civil servants. Na bado tutaendelea kutumikia wananchi wa
With negotiations still at standstill, health workers say the ball is now in the county government court until the agreement commitments are honored. They insist the strike will continue, leaving public hospital in Embu operating under severe disruption. Yvonne Shirisha, KUTV.
In other news in the same county, it is a relief for thousands of residents in Runyenje's sub-county, Embu County, after the national and county governments rolled out 1.7 billion shillings water project to tackle chronic water shortages and reduce waterborne diseases. The project, implemented through the Kieni Water Project by the Tana River Works Development Agency and funded by the National Treasury under the Financing Locally Led Climate Action Program, is expected to benefit more than 2,000 households.
A project that is intended to enhance supply of water to the communities in Lonyenche's constituency and the sub-county for that matter. There has been some insufficient water supply to our homes after the increase of populations, which demanded for more water increase to the pipelines, and which is leading to the domestic.
As we speak, we are estimating around more than 2,000 beneficiaries wenye watafaidika na hii maji, na tunaambia governor ongera sana sana, naendelea kutufanyia mambo kama hiyo anatufanyia. Bali watu walikuwa wanaenda for more than 2 kilometers wakiendea maji huko kwa mito, na at least hapa tunaona kuna suluhisho.
All right, we are taking the very first break on the broadcast this morning. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Bila shaka dira ya Boresha Kilimo sasa imepata sura mpya. Boresha Kilimo si kipindi tu, bali ni darasa la vitendo kwa wakulima, lengo kuu mavuno bora na tija kwa jamii. Na ukikaa nasi basi utaboresha kilimo. Hapa tutakupakulia maarifa atakotia ladha ya kisukari kwenye mazao yako, tukitofautisha punje na mpunga. Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha. Kuanzia maandalizi ya shamba, mbinu za teknolojia ya kisasa hadi sokoni, usikose kutazama Boresha Kilimo. Ukitaka kujua haya usipime kipimo. Ungana nami na hodha wako Akida Kasim kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 6:30 mchana na Jumanne asubuhi, nikikuletea shajara kamili za wakulima na suluhisho mashinani. Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha. Kumbuka, ukipanda pantosha utavuna pankwisha.
Utamwaga unga wewe. Wewe tunaelewa wewe. Utamwaga unga.
Ninakukaribisha rasmi kwenye mitindo ya kipwani, kipindi kinachokuza utamaduni wa kipwani, nikikuletea mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja na wataalamu, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kukorombezwa, viungo mwake vya kipwani, ngoma zetu za asilia za Kimijikenda, bila kusahau tarabu na chakata. Yaani wanawake Uswahilini watakuwa wakinengua na kuzungusha viuno kama panga boy za trekta ndani ya mitindo ya kipwani KUTV, ukiletewa moja kwa moja kutoka Salama Bling Beach Resort kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni na Jumapili saa 4 usiku, ukiwa nami mtamu wako zaidi ya asali. Mimi naitwa Waridi Tamu. Mpenzi mtazamaji, usipitwe na matamu.
Kaka mtazamaji, popote ulipo unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
All right, welcome back. You are tuned in for KUTV News, not KUTV News, KUTV Rise Today. And this is Biashara Tuesday's news updates. Moving forward, the Methodist Church in Kenya, Late Fellowship, has demanded the immediate arrest and prosecution of individuals implicated in the alleged loss of more than 600 million Kenyan shillings in church funds, accusing some senior church leaders of frustrating efforts to enforce accountability by suppressing the finding of a forensic audit. Listen in.
Kwale County, after the Coast Laity Convention, MCK Laity Fellowship President Dr. Hiram Mureithi spoke about the widespread cases of fraud and theft involving church resources uncovered during the forensic audit.
Much needs to be done in the Methodist Church in Kenya to stem the loss of church funds and resources through corruption, theft, misplaced priorities, and impunity. We call the stakeholders at all levels of the church to a firm commitment to moral uprightness, integrity, accountability, and above everything else, godliness in the management of the affairs of our beloved church. The commitment to these values should be demonstrated not through lip service, but solid actions. We have been watching with a keen spiritual eye the deliberate inaction and attempts to cover up and frustrate the implementation of the two key reports that were mandated by the 58th Conference to bring accountability in the management of the church resources and the alleged grabbing of church land by some leaders.
In response, the fellowship demands the immediate implementation of the recommendations from the forensic audit, insisting all individuals affiliated with the alleged losses be investigated and prosecuted.
We, as members of the Laity Fellowship, cannot remain silent while the conscience and the soul of our church is put to test. Today, we stand on the unchanging foundation of truth and ask those who participated, conspired, and quietly cheered the illegal sting of Reverend Deye through false ones and framed allegations to do one honorable thing, to repent.
Renewed calls for justice over the disputed 54-acre Jomvu church land in Mombasa were raised alleging irregular subdivision of the property and misappropriation of the proceeds from the sale.
Kama huo na kanisa letu liweze kuwa kanisa ambapo kila mtu akiingia hapo asihesabiwe na lile kule alikotoka, asihesabiwe na elimu alionayo, lakini ahesabiwe kama Mkristo na ahesabiwe na haki zote ambazo kanisa linapeana.
Despite all this, members remain hopeful that implementation of the recommendations will help solve church disputes, strengthen governance, promote accountability, and restore confidence in the institution.
Now, as political temperatures continue to rise ahead of the 2027 general election, Narok leaders led by Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu have urged residents, especially youth, to reject incitement and violence. The leaders are now calling on the parents to take up more parenting role and guide their children out of harm's way. Petra Faith reports.
Narok County leaders led by the County Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu have urged for peaceful coexistence to remain a priority as the country ages closer to the next general election.
Musiweze kutumiwa na mtu yote kuja kukuambia mambo ya chama. Je, tukichafua hii town kwa sababu ya kiti moja ama kiti mbili ya watu ambayo wanataka? Na hii town juzi nimesema sitaki tena kuona maandamano. Maandamano ni ya kuharibu vitu. Wacha wanasiasa waje waseme mambo yao, mtu aseme ajenda yake, aende zake. Lakini sio kukuja kugonganisha watu ambao wameishi pamoja.
The leaders strongly condemned hateful and inflammatory politics that threaten national unity. They urged young people not to allow being used to spread division or fuel violence, but instead be ambassadors of peace.
We should not hate each other because of politics. Let's love each other. Let us compete competitively with love.
Tushikane tufanye siasa ya amani. Tupea raia kiwanja mzuri ambayo atachagua ile viongozi wanataka. Sisi tupige marufuku katika Narok County, katika hii mji wetu tusiwahi kuona kitu naitwa guns katika hii mji wetu na katika Kenya mzima.
Kenyans were reminded that despite political differences, they remain one people with a shared responsibility to protect peace, with the leaders highlighting the country's diversity should be a source of strength rather than conflict.
Watu ni hawa, hatuna watu ambao wako ng'ambo ile na ng'ambo hiyo nyingine. Watu ni jamii moja, hii ni familia moja, na viongozi ndio ugawanya watu. Mimi nataka kuomba tuunganishe watu wetu wote, kwa sababu hao watu mwisho ikifika tarehe ya mwaka ujao, hao watu wataangalia kila mtu kulingana na mizani, sio mahali mtu yuko. Mtaangalia mama county amefanya kazi gani.
The leaders also appeal to parents and guardians to make good use of the school holidays to guard and closely monitor their children, stating that this close parental care can help them shield from drugs, crime and other harmful influences while schools remain closed.
Hapa Majengo pombe haramu imekuwa ikiingia. Tumekuwa tukisumbuana sana hapa na idara ya usalama. Tafadhali wewe ukiwa mzazi, chunga mtoto wako. Chunga mtoto wako. Hakikisha hapo salama, tusianze kupata early pregnancy watoto wakianza kurudi shule. Tulipitisha bill ya hawa vijana, empowerment, ya youth policy. Tunaomba hiyo bill iweze kufanya kazi ili watoto wetu waache kushinda wanasumbua wewe hapa.
The leaders said peaceful elections begin with responsible leadership, united communities and strong families, urging every Kenyan to play a role in preserving harmony before, during and after the 2027 general election. Petra Faith, KUTV.
Now, the National Transport and Safety Authority, in collaboration with Traffic Police, has intensified a crackdown on pedestrians failing to use designated footbridges along major highways in Nairobi. The operation, conducted on Mombasa Road and Thika Superhighway, has seen dozens arrested for jaywalking as authorities seek to curb the rising number of pedestrian fatalities. NTSA says the enforcement targets reckless road users who ignore safe crossing points despite the availability of footbridges. While some Kenyans have welcomed the move as necessary to improve road safety, others are calling for enhanced public awareness and better pedestrian infrastructure. Now that brings us to the end of our news update this morning. Coming up next is discussions on the state of the nation and, of course, various activities that have been happening right here in campus that will empower you as a business person or as a leader. Stay tuned for that after the break.
Utamwaga unga wewe. Watu tunaelewa wewe. Utamwaga unga. I'm running mad. I'm running mad.
Imagine a world where you are empowered to take charge of your health, where you are well informed about the latest advancements in healthcare and understand the policies that impact your well-being. Get ready to take charge of matters your health as we bring you a blend of weekly health features that engage professionals from across various medical fields.
When do you decide as a patient, do I need to go see the doctor? We are at a stage where we are seeing all chronic illnesses and we wait until we get a disease and then is when we go ahead.
From the most mundane to the complexities that perhaps seem overwhelming, we got you covered.
In terms of the factors
contributed. There are hereditary factors that means it could be genetic, so that's one factor. There are other factors as well, like nutritional deficiencies. So some vitamins such as folate have been identified to be a factor in those. So
our mission is to break down intricate health topics into understandable and actionable insights. Join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Wednesday 9 p.m. on KUTV's News at 9, where your health is our priority.
Ari na fahari ninayo kukujuza habari, sio mara moja wala mara mbili, bali siku zote. Daima dawamu runinga ya KU inazama na kuzuka, kuanzia mwambao hadi mashinani. Tunachimba mizizi ya habari kukuletea yanayojiri. Na katika ulingo wa kisiasa, tunachambua mbivu na mbichi, tukiweka yote paruanja yanayokuhusu wewe katika jamii. Mtazamaji, una kipaji cha kuvikwa taji? Bila shaka runinga ya KU tutakuvika taji, na wala sio kilemba cha ukoka, tukiangazia kipaji chako. Usikose kuungana nami na odha wako wa Kidakasim kila siku ya Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa, tukiweka yote paruanja. Daima ukiwa nami ni Nadra Chombo kuenda mrama.
Miti miti, panda panda, miti miti. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
Human skin. I'm going for the tall one. His legs look perfect for a good itch.
I don't know. I think I have a fever and I don't have any energy. Yeah, like there's a war going on inside me.
It has to be the pond. Ponds, rivers, and we will keep snails inside them to show people get sick.
Yeah, and we'll add pictures of safe water too.
Unsafe, don't jump inside. Stay safe and let adults guide. Snails bring danger, don't you see? Safe water keeps you healthy. Bilharzia free.
Ninakukaribisha rasmi kwenye mitindo ya kipwani, kipindi kinachokuza utamaduni wa kipwani, nikikuletea mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja na wataalamu, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kukorombezwa, viungo mwake vya kipwani, ngoma zetu za asilia za Kimijikenda, bila kusahau tarabu na chakata. Yaani wanawake Uswahilini watakuwa wakinengua na kuzungusha viuno kama panga boy za trekta ndani ya mitindo ya kipwani KUTV, ukiletewa moja kwa moja kutoka Salama Bling Beach Resort kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni na Jumapili saa 4 usiku, ukiwa nami mtamu wako zaidi ya asali. Mimi naitwa Waridi Tamu. Mpenzi mtazamaji, usipitwe na matamu.
When we restore landscape, Her Excellency sees engineering helping communities harvest more water efficiently. When we encourage kitchen gardens, she sees engineering improving irrigation, food production, and behind every successful development program is someone who designed a practical solution. May more solutions come from each one of you for Kenya. Engineering at its best is an act of service, and that is why your profession matters so deeply. But allow me to challenge you. As AI advances, as smart cities emerge, as robotics reshape industries, as data becomes the world's new currency, do not only ask, what can technology do for our profession? Ask, what should technology do? You switch the question. Because innovation without humanity is incomplete. Technology without inclusion leaves people behind. Progress without purpose is simply movement. The future Kenya needs is one where intelligence is matched with compassion. Ladies and gentlemen, the future is not something we inherit. It is something we engineer. Years from now, a child across a safer bridge, a mother will cook. A child will cross a safer bridge. A mother will cook from a kitchen that has no harmful smoke. A farmer will harvest more food because they've been able to get some rain. They've harvested the water. A community will have clean water. A city will become more resilient, all because of an engineer in this room. That is your legacy. Never, ever underestimate it. You know, this morning when we were sitting at the holding room, we were discussing about the affordable housing. And I had sat down with my staff, and I normally challenge them. And I was saying, affordable housing, those guys are using piped gas. How many of you here are using piped gas? We still use those mitungis. It gets finished, you're running somewhere. How many of us here are using piped gas? Even me, I'm not using piped gas in my own house. But in those houses, they are there. Now, the question I have, can you engineer something so that people stopped using that and see how the old houses can still have piped gas? Because you women here can have that innovation. And each and every house, even in that village, very remote village in Turkana or in West Pokot, can have that piped gas in there. But that innovation will come from nowhere else. It will come from this room. That's my challenge. My hope is that Kenya will remember this Women Engineer Summit that is happening today, not only for the conversations that you're going to have, but for the solutions that were born here, the companies that were founded here, and the mentorships that began here, and the innovations that changed their lives, because the women in this room chose to act. It is now my distinct honor, on behalf of Her Excellency, to declare the 28th Women Engineer Summit 2026 officially opened. May God bless you. May God bless the institution of engineers of Kenya. May God bless the women engineers. And may God bless this great republic of Kenya. Thank you.
And historically, it was said that women feared engineering, and there's been some bias about it. But I think when you look at the ladies who are around this room, we can confidently say that the women have already broken the glass ceiling, and now they have proven that women can make it in the engineering field. And if you talk to a number of the ladies here, they are representing all the organizations in the country, from the private sector, the parastatals, the international organizations, the NGOs, and all that. But something is still lacking. When you think about all these big organizations like the KenGen, the Ketago, the Kura, the Kena, you will not find a woman CEO there. So what is it? Something, maybe it is this bad thing that the engineers are not willing to crack this code. We were told today that it is very, very important to use your technical skills to make your way into the room. But your technical skills will not keep you there. And your technical skills will not make you rise to the top. There are some other additional skills that you need to develop. And most of these were bordering towards the social skills and the softer skills and the commercial skills and what have you. And forget about also talking about the technical organization. Let's also go into politics. I don't know, Honorable Willie, whether in your address book you have the contact of a fellow woman engineer who is your fellow political colleague. So what is it? And you see there are so many vibrant, very nice looking vibrant ladies here. What's the gap? Why is it that we are not bridging this very huge gap? So we still need a lot of training, a lot of mentorship, a lot of leadership skills so that we can upscale our women until they reach that level where they can be at par with our men. So that is one of the issues that we are trying to tackle with our women, and we are moving from strength to strength because today you have also met with Engineer Catherine Muni. She managed to get into the board of one of a very, very big national construction authority. And there are so many boards where our women could come in. So today, our event today was graced by the First Lady, Her Excellency Rachel Ruto, who was represented. But she said even as she's very keen on promoting the empowerment of women at all levels through some of our initiatives like Joyful Women and other initiatives. And as women engineers, the message we are giving is that we are ready. But we still need to knock on the right doors and to still do a few things that can take us to that level. So I think then maybe you are the right person to mentor the women engineers, because I think those who are in politics, there's a certain kind of a skill that you have already shared, which I think our women engineers, they are still locked up with this skill. But from time to time, we're looking for women engineers. We have about 3-4 women engineers who attempted even to run for politics. And you know very well that sometimes also to be appointed into some of these positions, you must also show that you've got this kind of aptitude to even try your hand in politics and all that. So that is going to be the basis of some of the conversations that we need to hear from you and the mentorship from you. We also know that you're running your mentorship, whereby you say that every girl must have a what? A little black dress. I don't know. So maybe we would also partner with you in that kind of mentorship. You can tell us something about that, because it could be a two-way street whereby even the women engineers can mentor on one hand and can also be mentored on the other hand. So I think with those remarks then, I wish to call on Engineer Mugure, who is part of our caretaker, who are overseeing the activities of the institution.
Easier for if the younger ladies that they don't have to go through some of the things that we've gone through. I keep saying that women, it's not, we don't need to be told we can do it. We already know we can. It is, we need to be facilitated to do it. Acknowledging that our systems work different. But as we talk about all that, let us celebrate how much we've gone. No, one of the caretaker committee members said, you women are taking over. And I told him, one of the things that makes women work is we mentor each other. We know how to work together. We're told we are the greatest enemies, but we're not. We know how to work together. We know how to chama. And all these things start from coming together as women. You know what they call our mama? It really works for us because we know how to just join and make things work for us, which maybe men are not very good at mentoring their younger ones. So we have made so many steps, and it is great to see how much we have achieved in 10 years. And I look forward to us keeping on growing and keeping on making life easier for the women who are coming after us. Because at times this is what keeps us away. And then politics is nice because now we have seen ladies, Honorable Millie saying, be a bad girl. And you know how we are guilt-tripped. No, be nice. No, you are unaongea sana, unafanya nini. But we have now a politician who has set a standard and say, be a bad girl and be unapologetic about that. So any women politicians who come after that, get it, will have it easier and can be very apologetic because you can hold on to something. So I am happy to see all of us here. I am happy to see us looking very beautiful in this game. I'm happy to see.
We are reminded that the quality of learning must be supported by safe, supportive, and responsive institutions. Government remains committed to creating environments where learners can thrive academically and develop holistically. This is why every year we are allocating more and more resources to all levels of education system to ensure that our education sector functions seamlessly and smoothly. Indeed, for the first time since independence, the education sector budget for this year, 2026-2027, has risen to 784.5 billion Kenya shillings. We take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for ensuring that education is a central pillar in this administration and in this economy. Hence, the higher allocation of almost 30% of our budget being set aside for our sector. This allocation includes, among others, funds to support capitation, scholarships, and loans designed to foster access and affordability in and including tertiary education. The allocation also includes resources necessary to fulfill commitments made under the collective bargaining agreements to preserve industrial harmony and safeguard the welfare of our gallant staff. The government is committed to working with all the stakeholders to build a competitive and functional tertiary education system where no qualified Kenyan is left behind and in which our universities remain financially viable. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Chancellor, sir, yet I must also be direct with our universities. The era in which an institution would depend almost entirely on the exchequer is behind us. Financial sustainability now demands that universities diversify their sources of income. I call upon Kenyatta University and indeed all our public universities to strengthen resource mobilization through research grants, partnerships, innovation, and alumni support. A university that earns, innovates, and partners is better placed to protect its independence and secure its future. Government will continue to support and incentivize such efforts, but the initiative must begin with our institutions. In this regard, we are strengthening the support for research commercialization so that knowledge generated in our universities can move beyond academic journals into industry, into enterprise and practical solutions for national development. Research must increasingly become a driver of job creation, innovation, and economic growth. We are equally investing in digital learning infrastructure because the future of our education will increasingly depend on technology. Access to digital platforms, online learning systems, and the responsible use of artificial intelligence must now become part of how our institutions prepare graduates for a fast-changing world. These reforms in financing and institutional sustainability are part of a wider transformation taking place in our higher education sector. As we rethink funding, curriculum reform, the place of technical and vocational training, and the responsible use of artificial intelligence in learning, young people must have a voice in that process. These are decisions that will shape their future, and they cannot be made without their participation. I therefore encourage universities to continue creating space for meaningful student engagement, and I encourage the students, including you, the graduates, to remain active contributors to the future of education in this country. Let's include a compass. A future built by only some of our youth is not a shared future at all. The young woman from an arid county, the student with disability, the learner from a refugee community, the young person from the poorest households belongs at the table too. Carry inclusion with you, not as a child, but as a principle. Dear graduates, co-creation also carries a duty. Too many young people leave the lecture hall and struggle to find work. The gap between what is learned and what the economy needs is real. Your task, therefore, is on anything that we do. And if we slow down, it means we shall remain there down. The idea is really to invest in education. And that's why everybody who has spoken before me has stated that they are very delighted to see this huge number of graduating students and covering all the areas, PhDs, masters, first degrees, and also diplomas. So really, we thank the government. We thank the government for prioritizing education, because that's the only way forward. Educated people have huge options, wide options for innovation, for productivity, for service delivery. So it is not, this is not just a priority, but it must be priority for any government in this budget and the resource allocation. It is an honor to join you today for the 59th graduation ceremony of Kenyatta University. Graduation is always an important occasion in the life of our university. It is a moment to recognize hard work, discipline, and achievement. It is also a moment to reflect on the place of higher education in shaping society. To our graduates, congratulations. Today marks the end of one chapter of your lives. And
to solve or kind of to bring an explanation on that and how it goes. The Vice Chancellor, I've given this as my introduction, so you'll allow me to go to the next slide. Plant taxonomy is a branch of basic plant sciences that deals with grouping of plants according to various levels of relationships. That's basically what I'm talking about. At the top is the kingdom, where living things belong, either the plant or the animal kingdom. The two, the traditional way of classification, we all know this. From the plant kingdom follows various taxa, that is the division, the class, the order, and I'm sure some of you remember your Form 4, I think Form 3 classification where you are taught, this is the taxa, this is a group, move from this to kingdom, and then down to the species. Now there are other taxa that are below the species, and our taxa, by the way, for those of us who may not be in this area, taxa simply means grouping. So a taxa is a group. Taxon is one, taxa are many. So below the species, we also have others, like the variety, the forms, the lines, and many others. And you'll get many other types of classifications that will be given by plant breeders and others that do study plants. We are saying here that there are 4 main pillars in plant taxonomy. We deal with identification, classification, nomenclature, and description. And you can ask yourself, is that all you have been doing in your life? Only 4 things, of course. Quite a lot also in each of them. We start with the identification, for example. This is determining if a known plant matches an already known described species. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, including those ones online, when we are talking about plant identification, simply what we mean is, does this one match anything known? If it is not matching anything known, then we describe it as new. Because identification has been confused in many classes, where people imagine it's a very, very complicated animal. It is not. We are saying here identification is usually a very serious issue also, especially when it involves crime. Parade identifications in police stations is a matter of life and death, and of course we know this. The culprit has to be identified positively. You have to know who is this, and they have therefore to be committed to jail if they have to end up there. Identification in layman's language, we always start with what we call the known to the unknown. You know that this is a stem of a plant, and which plant is this? You move to the one that you don't know. And finally, you get either a name or you get a group where it belongs to. So that is identification. When we go to classification, and I've made this one shorter, is a grouping plants into hierarchical categories. Like for example, the families. Where does this one belong? And why are we doing all this problem? Why are we having, are we solving all these problems? Why bother classifying? We classify organisms, we classify plants, so that when we are studying them, we know what we are talking about. The whole question is based on communication. What is we are communicating? What is this we are communicating? And therefore we place them either all the way from the family, from the kingdom, all the way down to the species, depending on the categorization, depending on the various traits that those organisms have in common, and so forth. Then we move to nomenclature. This is the one that causes the enigma. Applying standardized, universally accepted scientific names to plants, for example, using what we call the Latin binomials, to avoid confusion caused by varying names when we have what you call common names. Some people argue that a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And of course, that's an argument that, if you look at it philosophically, is very true. It's very true. This was said by William Shakespeare in his play by Romeo and Juliet. It suggests that the true nature or essence of something is far more important than the name, label, or title it is given. Of course, we know that is very true. However, what we fail to appreciate is that there is more to a name than just a physical identification and associated characteristics. We need to go deeper than just giving something a name. And that's why we go to descriptions. So in the name, in nomenclature, what does a name carry that no other material can carry? The name gives an expectation. When I call you James, I know there are several James here. They will look up, I know one of them. They look up, but what is in you that makes you respond to the name James? Joan, Mary, and they all look up. What does that mean? The name gives an expectation. From the known to the unknown. What does a rose have that is different from, for example, a carnation? A carnation are those flowers that have very many heads. How about the smell? How about the thorns? If we are talking of a rose, we expect a thorn. How about the chemicals that give rose the specific smell? And that's why they are bought in the world market. The name alone is expected to bring out all these expectations, and I put them in parentheses because the expectation is huge. We call you by your name, just like your own name evokes certain expectations from your own friends, from your own spouse, and of course from your own enemies as well. Yes, when they hear your name, some of them will freeze. And freezing simply means they are reacting to something that probably that name is evoking. But luckily for us, most of the names will be evoking something pleasant, nice, and therefore you expect something that is coming from that particular name. The 4 pillars in plant taxonomy, we are saying the final one is description. Recording the physical traits, shapes, sizes, and ecology of the plants, and we know this one from basic biology. Again, I was trying to recall the syllabus of high school, Form 2, where you are taught different types of stems, different types of leaves, different types of tendrils, and so on. Plant description has a given pattern to follow. From the roots, we start from the roots, and this is in taxonomy. You start from the roots, you come to the stems, you come to branches, you go to the leaves and the flowers, the inflorescence, collection of many flowers, the fruits, the seeds, and finally the embryo. Why the embryo? Because the embryo is the next generation. So that is usually the order that we follow when we are doing the description. And you'll see this one in Standard Flora and other publications. How about biosystematics? This is a new word for many of us. On the other hand, it's a broader modern discipline that expands on taxonomy by incorporating evolutionary history. What we are saying here, we are talking about what we refer to as phylogeny. And it also brings on board genetics, ecology, physiology, variation in order to understand how species and populations are related. We are asking ourselves, if you talk of a population of maize and you have another population of potatoes, another population of cedar trees and so on, which evolved from what according to evolutionary theory? And what are the characteristics you are looking for in any of those populations for you therefore to group them together or to group them separately? However, in biosystematics, we go further and we ask ourselves, which one gave rise to which one came first and which one came next? And that's why we are saying there is an enigma, because many people will try to avoid this portion. They'll just deal with what you call elementary plant taxonomy and leave out this. And this is complex study, by the way. We're also saying therefore the enigma, which has been documented, that proper introduction with enthusiasm makes learning of Latin names a small part of plant taxonomy. And I'm sure some of us here will agree that when you are introduced to plant taxonomy, the first time you went to class, and you are told Biden's bylaws are now, where does bylaws come from? Who is Biden's? Who is who? What? You know, those names. And we are just given names without meaning. And we are saying, no, that shouldn't be the way to teach plant taxonomy. We have found the introduction changes the attitude. And again, ladies and gentlemen, including those ones online, if you forget everything I will talk about today, remember about plant taxonomy and attitude. The whole question is changed by attitude. Our attitude is very, very important. The attitude of the learners, immensely. And many have very positive attitude and learn taxonomy without too much of efforts or bias. I'm saying this because I know this is true. I know one who taught me, and I'm using this as a good example. I hope Dr. Jacobs, I think he's now Professor Jacobs, who went to South Africa after teaching here at Kenyatta University for a number of years. He is one of the examples I have here. He was my lecturer at undergraduate. He taught us plant taxonomy so simply, so enthusiastically, that I liked it. I just fell in love with plant taxonomy. I had come to Kenyatta University initially for my master's to do ecology. But when I couldn't find ecology, I found another area, plant taxonomy, that had a lacuna. And I filled that. And I have never regretted why I became a plant taxonomist. Thanks to Dr. Jacobs, who was very, very down to earth. He would tell us stories about how this plant is connected to this, how somebody ate this one at night. For example, the mushrooms from Kakamega forest, people who would go and harvest them at night. And you know you are going to harvest at night because it's just about 6 in the evening and you want food. So you go collecting for the mushrooms in the evening. And there is a taboo. I know those ones from Luya land, you'll agree with me. There is a taboo. You don't go to collect mushrooms after 6 because certain things will happen. Now, ideally what they are saying, don't go when it is dark because you collect the wrong type of mushroom. That's why the taboo is there. And they would tell us stories of people who would go and break those taboos and then go and collect the wrong ones. And in the morning, their tummies are playing all kinds of games, including diarrheaing and so on. So some of the taboos we have, they are not just useless things. No, we need to find out what really is behind this story. Why do they do this? And why were they putting this in place? And there are important things for us to learn. What I'm saying, in plant taxonomy, there's so much that we are yet to enumerate and write all of it. We are also saying in Enigma that it is important for the subject to settle appropriately in our minds, because identification of plants and other items in life, for that matter, is an activity we undertake every day. Sometimes we do it unconsciously. Somebody is selling you an orange and you don't care whether it's a tangerine or whatever, you just pick. I know, for example, as men, we just pick. Only to get home, hey, this is a tangerine. I never wanted tangerine, I wanted this one. And then you say, what's the difference? They're all oranges.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Come to 360 degrees. From every angle, nothing is left out.
So, the world is currently obsessed. We have the World Cup tournaments, right? Everyone is talking about the multi-million-dollar contracts, the VAR systems, grass that has been groomed to perfection, and kits that cost more than my 10-year rent. But let's be honest for a second. That's not the kind of football we grew up with here in Kenya. I'm talking about the real game. I'm talking about the game played in the dust, the game that is played in whatever empty space you could find. Ikwe kwa sewage, ikwe katikati ya milango mbili, ama ikwe kwa grao ya mchanga. I'm talking about the indestructible, the legendary mpira wa karatasi, or better still, the paper league. They say that football is the world's most popular game, but I have found out that the rules aren't written in a FIFA handbook. The rules are written by us in the dust. There were certain rules of the mpira wa karatasi, and the first rule was mwenye ameleta hii ball ndo alikuwa Infantino. Yeye ndo alikuwa kusema, yeye ndo alikuwa ref, yeye ndo alikuwa kila kitu. Angeambiwa kitu yoyote. Na the bad thing ilikuwa akisikia njana mko katikati ya game, hiyo game ilikuwa inaisha. Ama akitwa na mamake ama mumkasirishe, hiyo game ndo ilikuwa inaishanga hivyo.
The second infamous rule was mwenye ball hakuna kukanyanga ball isipokuwa mwenye ball ama mtu wao ama brother yake mdogo ama kazini yake, but wewe mwingine unaenda home.
Kwenye nimegrow Githurai 44, Githurai 45 na Mathare. Kwa hii game, mastrikers wote walikuwa na majina fani. Wetu kwanza ule mfamous alikuwa anaitangwa Kadwaru. Na huyo mwingine mfamous alikuwa anaitwa Ousuku.
Hiyo rule nyingine ni usiache ball iguze maji. Hii ball ilivunjika mguu lakini naye siingie kwa maji, ingie kwa mtaro. Jikiingia unaenda tu home, labda uko mwenye ball ama uko na hiyo privilege ya kuwa brother ya mwenye ball.
Kwa hii game hakukuwa na scoreline. Watu tulikuwa tunafungana hadi 45 kwa 45, hata goals zilikuwa zinafika 90.
Mwenye ball ndo alikuwa referee, the ultimate referee. Akisema umepigwa red card, yeye ndo atadecide utakaa nje dakika ngapi na utarudi after how long.
Kwa hii game hakukuwa na 90 minute rule. Hii game ulikuwa tu tunacheza mpaka usiku ama hadi mamako akuite. So ulikuwa una make sure kabla utoke home umeosha vyombo, umeosha nyumba ama umeenda soko ndo mamako asikukatie.
Another rule ilikuwa mwenye anakaa like kuna player who is neutral. Huyu alikuanga either amekaa game kushaanza ama kuna mnoma amekaa so ikabidi na huyu ajue kucheza kwa neutral, so alikuwa anafunga mahali goalpost iko karibu na, like kama kwa karibu na goalpost anafunga huko, kama kwa huku anafunga na huku.
Kwa hii game pia sijui kama mtaa yenu ilikuwa kama mtaa yetu, but wenye ball always walikuwa wanono na hawakuwa wanajuanga kucheza ball, so ndo apate hiyo privilege ya kucheza ball anakuja na hii ball ndo aingie kwa game.
The other famous rule was hakuna kucheza na viatu. Mwenye alikuwa anacheza na viatu alikuwa one mwenye ball ama brother ya mwenye ball ama cousin ya mwenye ball peke yake wenye wako allowed. Ni wengine mgutu.
Yeah, hakukuwa kucheza na viatu sababu tungepeana ma injuries na huko ni mtaani. Kila mtu anaishi, maisha ya chini kidogo, so hatunge afford hiyo. Sijui kama mtaa yenu watu walikuwa wanacheza na viatu, unaweza kutuambia kwa comment section.
Kuna rule nyingine ya mwenye ball ndo walikuwa na decide. Unaona kama saa hii si penalty ni ukishika ball na wewe si goalkeeper kwa yard yao. But sasa yeye angesema ipigwe kama free kick, ndo alikuwa na decide mali penalty spot iko kama ni kwao. Lakini kama ni kwenye the opposite side inapigwa karibu na goal post, tunapima 6 steps, lakini kama ni ya mwenye ball inapimwa 12 steps.
So partly nimegrow pia Uganda, uko ushago na kuna hii ball pia huko, so I guess hii ball maybe kwa Afrika yote, si Kenya peke yake, lakini Kenya hii ndio tunajua vizuri tukigrow. Kuna zile mtaa yenye imekipi hii tradition ya hii ball going, they have not forgotten this. Kuna hizi mitaa kama Githurai, mtaa yangu, people have even begun businesses of making this ball at 150 shillings. From the artistic flair of Joe Kadenge to the precision of Origi and the unwavering strength of Musa Otieno, these legends prove that greatness isn't found in a factory-made ball, but in the heart of a child who builds their own. They are the ultimate graduates of our paper league. And football imefungulia watu wengi businesses. Talk of Dennis Oliech. We have the Mama Oliech restaurant in Nairobi ambayo inauza samaki. This is the restaurant that Dennis Oliech opened for his mother. It is a hotel that has hosted so many big names, and it has created job opportunities to so many young families in Kenya.
In the streets of Portugal, we find a young man where their family lived in extreme poverty, but through him, wameweza kuwajengea, ameweza kuwapatia life yenye hawakuwa wanaishi. Na that young man ni mtu anaitwa Ronaldo Cristiano. Do you know Ronaldo? His mother was even to bought him because of the extreme poverty. But because of football, he is the richest among his siblings and he is the one taking care of his mother. So it's through this ball that has enabled that family to grow financially and even to become a very big family that everyone talks about it.
Football has also created so many opportunities for children living in abject poverty, especially here in Africa. Kuna wale players wakubwa huko Europe huwa wana support education ya watoto huko Afrika. Football has created so many job opportunities for people wenye wangeenda kukua kwa streets ama wangeenda kufanya vitu mbaya kwa maisha yao.
Unaona kama hii World Cup, if ingeletwa Kenya, the amount of businesses zenye zinge grow ama zenye zinge erupt ama zenye zinge tokea hiyo time zingekuwa mingi, because if for a stadium to host a football game, they have to be fans. Fans wanaleta financial power because wanakuja kununua vitu, watalala. Then kuna hizo services zitaprovidiwa, kuna photography services. So through the football world, ime create so many small other businesses zenye kama si football azingewai. Hata ku create your stadium, the contractor, it's a business. Kuna mtu wako hapo analisha familia yake through the construction. Watu wa mjengo ni watatumika kujenga. It's still a business yenye itasaidia umse mwenye wanaka mjengo kulea familia yake through the amount of wages atalipwa.
Not to forget in our paper league. In this mpira wa karatasi, most of the time during the weekends, kuna hii kitu tulikuwa tunaita tona. Na ndio ucheze tona, everyone alikuwa na contribute a certain amount of money. And that money was collected at the end of the day, and it was used to buy more football kits for the children. Ama ingesaidia kwa kile chochote hapo mtaani.
Unaona, this big business, these big footballers, they have so many businesses, like people like Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, they have these hotels. And you see, akifungua hoteli, ataajiri watu. Akiajiri watu, that's a business. And like hata mwenye atakuwa na provide services, si lazima kwa hoteli watu wakule sijui nini. Pia hizo, like lazima. So it's through the football that has enabled even those businesses, those small za provide services, sijui kuosha curtains kwa hizo mahoteli zao. Then at all to even Kenyans, there are people like Olunga. Even Olunga has employed people ama has created businesses kutokana na ile pesa yenye anapata, so anaileta back to the country. Unajua kitaksiwa, the government is getting revenue from his taxes of his businesses. People like Olunga in Kenya has created an academy called I think it's Mufa. That academy has has created small businesses zenye zinai-facilitate endi kwa maliko juu sahi. I think wanacheza ni Super League or something. Wako karibu tu kidogo tu wafike national level. Na sasa unaona kuna mwenye anawapatia transport, unaona sasa hii support transport sector, kuna mwenye anawapatia like hizo viatu, balls. So through the football, it has enabled him to create a business empire that it support the other small businesses. So it's through the football that we once grew knowing has created so many job opportunities, has created so many business sectors that help us in our economic life.
I was your host, Madanji Alwanga.
I'm Malon Mushiri, a sport analyst and a diehard fan of Real Madrid.
And this was 360 degrees
from every angle, nothing is left out.
Welcome back, and when we are seated, you know, it's about to get down on very critical discussions. This morning we are talking about the state of the nation. To help me understand this, or to help us unpack this discussion, I'm joined by two very able gentlemen, youth leaders in the country who are aspiring to be great leaders, some in the 2027 general election, literally going for seats. I don't know for the next one, but he'll be telling us. Allow me have the guests introduce themselves to you. Let me begin with you, Ojwang.
Asante sana, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Kenya. Ni bado ndio Ojwang, mtoto wa Mariam. Nafurahia sana kwa on show siku ya leo. It's been long, I've missed the set, and I'm ready to unpack the state of our nation giving a bold perspective from the newspaper and always from the constitution of Kenya. Hiki tulifanya mpaka rais amelia sana, anasema that whoever decided the fate of our country on the basis of 2030 hakuangalia hii katiba. So from 2010 we have this constitution, we have a new vision ya 2060, na anatumia sana akisema hizi mambo zote mpaka za affordable housing ziko hapa, but what do they really mean? So I'm grateful tuko hapa hivi tuweze kuangalia such matters kwa lugha yenye Mkenya pale hivyo kwa ground ama kwa mashinani, na kama si mashinani ni ghetto anaielewa. Asante sana. Mimi ndo author wa Believe Become.
All right. Quite an introduction. Andrew?
Thank you so much. My name is Andrew Kandie. I'm a youth leader. Thank you for the opportunity this morning to come and, as he has said, unpack the state of the nation.
All right. Do you have any seat that you are eyeing in 2027?
Not for now, but we are preparing for the future. You know what I'm saying?
Unaweka mikakati.
Tunaweka mikakati kabambe.
All right. I see. We have the young people in the country talking about, we need to take this leadership. My ancestors. We need to take up these leadership positions and ensure that our voices are heard. We need to have the seat at the table, not just on the streets. Sure. And it's a very brilliant discussion that you're having. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Just to set us on this discussion that you're having this morning, we have various headlines across different newspapers that you're having. And today, to just group them, we have politics, and in politics, we have the Standard. The Standard are talking of Grand Coalition. That is in relation to what the meeting that happened yesterday. Sure. We have the People Daily talking of 10 counties that will decide Kenya's next president. We also have the Daily Nation has given prominence to matters health. Let's just gather in what we have in politics first. Taifa Leo, they're talking of politics, and they're saying that Azimio Lenga Gachagua still on what transpired yesterday. So let's just begin from that point where we are talking of, or we are talking about the formations that are currently ongoing. Some critics argue that the so-called united opposition are wasting time. It's a time when they should be sourcing for votes, but they're now struggling with structures. Do you think that they are too late, or are we reading too much into this? Let's begin with it, John.
In politics, there is no too late. The reason I'm saying there is no too late, it's because we have people like the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, who has been in that politics with ambitions that in 2032 he will be a president, yet bado ni mzee. It is, we cannot say that you are late in politics, na tuko na watu kama Musalia Mudavadi, who was once a vice president of this country and wants to be president in 2032. We cannot talk about kukua late when we have young youths like the first time Senator Nairobi who wants to be a president in now 2027, not 2032. So hii siasa ya hii inchi hainaga kuchelewa na hainaga uadui, because tomorrow or next year you may hear that Kalonzo has decamped and wants to deputize President William Ruto himself. That opposition or united opposition, they are still not united if they do not have structures. But structures hata tunaweza zijenga saizi na zipigwe kesho. Leo tunaweza amka na kijana na fungue chama, ama tuone huyu kijana hata anaweza kuwa president kama Morara. Kesho msikia amenunuliwa. So it's not late, bado ni mapema. That's why the IEBC iko na vitu zinaitagwa timelines. That by March 2027 we are requesting all political parties to do their primaries, do their nominations. By May 2027, submit these names to the IEBC, ndo iweze kutoa list of candidates, and then do campaign for 3 months from May to August. That is around 7th August 2027. So saa hii ni mapema sana kama ni 2026. Mse kama mimi mwenye nasimama MCA bado siwezi sema structures zangu ziko intact, juu structures zangu zinahusu kichele, but kama ni kuhusu watu hadi wewe na kucount kama my team, kuna watu huko nje wenye ni mobilizers, kuna wengine mpaka wanaunda ngoma wanasema mhesh wewe ni mhesha naga kakitu nimekuundia hii ngoma na ni yeye tumia. So hata mimi bado sina structures, lakini niko na ndoto ya kumake sure niko kwa hiyo government yenye inakuja 2027. It is never too late. Siasa time yake ni kama ile ya God yenye anasemaga kwangu mimi kama Mungu wenyu one day ni kama 1000 days. Ilikuwa mbaya sana hiyo 2024. Sasa hizi unasikia kuna watu wanasema hey ni kama Heri Ruto, ni kama it's still early.
All right, and let me get your what you think about this. Is it too early? Are we reading too much?
Thank you so much. I would want to agree to a certain extent with my friend, the incoming MCA, Kawa West, that it is very too early to predict the next, of course, whatever is happening now between now and the next general election, which will be on August next year. The opposition right now, I can say they are disoriented, they are disorganized, they even do not know who their candidate is. They are trying to come together, as you can see. There's Linda Mwananchi trying to join the other side. So we can't really tell if the deliberations that are taking place among them, that they can unite them together, because one, I know for sure, my friend, I don't know which party you are in. You are in DCP. Their leader is their presidential candidate, I guess so. Maybe Wiper Kalonzo is their presidential candidate. Linda Mwananchi, I don't know who. The DAP Kenya, Eugene Wamalwa, has been fronted as their presidential candidate. So when all these leaders come together, they join hands together and they say we want to front one candidate. Some of them will feel jilted. They'll say, man, we can't run as a second, you know what I'm saying? So for now, we can't read much, but we hope that these guys, they come together. By 10 a.m., we will deal with them fair and square. Thank you very much.
All right, Ojwang, wait a minute.
Yes.
There is this argument that the united opposition are not united because of Gachagua effects. When I say Gachagua effect, I mean that Gachagua wants someone who he's controllable when he gets to power. I believe that's the reason why they say he had differences with the president, because he was not being a deputy president.
Sure.
So that means that Sifuna will definitely not be a suitable person for that role, because Sifuna is someone who has been seen in office defending himself against a political party, a big political party. So this is someone who can just wake up one morning and be like, no, we are not doing this. So definitely that person is not controllable, for lack of a better word. And then we have him having numbers right now with other regions. And then we have these other leaders in the opposition, the likes of Kalonzo, the likes of the others. They're not insignificant, I'm just saying others. But we have them who want the vote of the mountain, and Gachagua is currently right now allegedly controlling a sizable amount of votes in the mountain based on what transpired in Olkalau. So we have a case where the leaders are kind of entertaining Gachagua because of the numbers that he has, and then it makes it difficult to have a conclusive agreement. Could this be just a general confusion and not strategy? Because nini mnafanya?
Okay, listen, you need to make a big. It's like I'm part of what they are doing. But I'm not. I'm here to champion for something they call sustainable leadership. Sustainable leadership means kwa roho yako hauna kinyongo kubwa. It's like Paul, you still want to have a Timothy in you, groom someone. In fact, I would say Mtuadi kama baba, he still didn't do a perfect job in grooming someone from ODM. And that ODM forms the government, and it also forms the opposition at the moment. So if we are talking about on banking on whatever my brother is calling disorientation and disorganization of the united opposition, it is the same case in the government side. Why? The Lake region is an ODM zone. And at the moment, if you look at all the polls, the Linda Mwananchi faction is carrying a bigger number than the Oburu Odinga's powerless ODM. That's why he keeps saying, tunataka power, tunataka power, tunataka power. Tunataka power aje. You have CS for mining and blue economy from ODM, Ali Joho from the coast region. You have CS for youth and economics, Salim Vuria from the coast region. Hapo hivyo manzi wamekuwekea mpaka PS from ODM wa huko wanaitwa Fikirini. You have Opio Wandai dealing with matters energy from the Lake region, but we are still saying hakuna power. The man at the helm of the finance and the treasury in this country was from ODM, the bad man John Mbadi from the Lake region. But if you go back to Mwananchi and ask them, we have two factions in ODM, because these people are still from ODM. They have not resigned from ODM because their resignation means we are supposed to be having a by-election. In all these places, people have been edged out. I mean, Nairobi, mahali ambapo senator ametolewa minority whip, akitoka ODM, hii kiti inafaa ikuwe vacant. Pale hivyo upande wa Vihiga, they have people like Honorable Godfrey Otsosi. Hata yanafaa kuwa nje, but hawako nje on the basis of wao bado ni watu wa ODM. So wanapiga hiyo serikali ya Ruto wakiwa ndani ya ODM. Come to this other side, they are calling Mount Kenya, a place where we witnessed something that the Standard called whitewashed. After giving the people of Olkalau boats, after giving the people of Olkalau mattresses, gas, for the very first time Olkalau watu wapiki na kuni, wanapika na gas, kwanza ni ya papo, royalty, and they still gave him 5,000 votes out of over 35,000 votes. That kind of numbering inafanya watu ambao ni wa UDA watoke UDA wa decamp. UDA yenye bado tunaongelea. The Murang'a governor has publicly decamped to DCP. The Nyandarua County Governor Kiari Badilisha has also decamped to DCP. So hapo hivyo ni watu wa UDA na wao wenye wanapiga serikali bado wakiwa hapo ndani juu bado hawajaresign. Watu hata wenye ni watu very vocal like Honorable Jerry Maina, women rep for Kirinyaga, is still a member of UDA. People like Kiharo, member of parliament, they are still people in UDA. Hawaja decamp. It is the same UDA yenye tunasema it has a presidential candidate already. Na they do not have a number 2 kama tu wale wengine. Kwa nini? Their number 2 is our own son, Professor Kibure Kindiki. But wanasema wezi ndikidhania na yeye mpaka 2027. They are saying they must have an ODM representative. Saizi wana front watu kadhaa. Mmoja wao ni CS Oparanya. Wa pili ni CS Joho. As in hata wao wako hivyo. Wako more disorganized, wako more disoriented. Na ndio maana nasema it is still too early. Can I add a point on why it is?
I think you're giving him.
Let's weigh on what Andrew has to say.
Niwalize tu my point hata ndo apate kitu yenye anapiga kitu sijamaliza. In the year 2002, gazeti ya Standard inaongelea kuhusu a grand coalition that could yield a wave kama ya 202. In that time, ilikuwa ni October, 3 months to election, time yenye baba alisema, hey, sisi tumeachana na mambo ya Moi, huyo uhuru wake hata hatumtambui, na tukasema Kibaki tosha. It was 3 months to election. Bado ni mapema, mambo yanaiva, na kuna vijana kama sisi tunafikiria. Tuko hapo tusukume hizo conversations.
All right, let's get what Andrew has to say.
I think my friend has spoken a lot, but he has actually said totally nothing. In the sense that you can't say this is a 202 moment, my friend. This is not 202. This is a very different election, whereby we are going to elections to elect a president based on meritocracy, what he has done for the past 4 years. You know what I'm saying? You know, 202, we were doing, the election was based on other principles, not like this one. Mm-hmm. And my friend, you said there are these guys from ODM who are now in Linda Mwananchi, who've also been stripped of their in parliament, and you're saying like they should resign. That's what you're saying.
But no, I said they can't resign because they are still in ODM. If they leave ODM, then they should resign.
They should resign.
Yeah, but they're still in ODM.
You're on DCP.
I'm on DCP.
You're in UDA.
I've never been in UDA.
Yes.
I was a Baba person from Jubilee. So ni watu wameongezeka. Nikisikia mtu ametoka UDA ameingia hii side, inakuwa ni win. Wewe unafona nionyesha watu wametoka nao this other side wakakaribia hapo.
You know, the problem is are they shifting to UDA because they not UDA to DCP because they feel like DCP is a better party, or are they shifting because they want to secure the second terms in their respective positions because of the power they are holding?
Sure. I think politics is local, and you saw the ground, what the ground tells you. Because as a politician, even my friend here, I think he has done his homework to vie for the city on the party is vying on, having done homework on what the people on the ground are saying. But coming to the Linda Mwananchi, we have not tested their popularity. There is no by-election they have participated on. So for now, we can just say these guys, the wave is there, but we do not know actually that their potential, you know what I'm saying? So my friend, as to give at the other side, bring it on, man. We don't fear. I have told you, like in my opening remarks, come together by 10 a.m. We'll have dealt with you. But just not to forget, as I said, this is not a 202 moment. This is an election where you sell what you have done before. Even your presidential candidate, and I don't know who the person who will be given the baton to the flag bearer, I mean, for the united opposition, but whoever he will be given should come out and tell us what he has done for those many years he's been in government. You know what I'm saying? And actually his party leader cannot vie. You know, the court case said he cannot vie. So my friend, you exhaust the judicial process that is there for your candidate to vie, but for now he can't.
You know, both of you didn't give me an answer I asked. You didn't respond to the question I asked you. You were like, let me not say. You were like, why don't you ask me this?
Yes.
You remember the person who said, why don't you ask me this? Why don't you ask me this?
Yes.
I asked, is there confusion within the united opposition as they form their united coalition?
Absolutely.
Are they not forming their structures out of fear or out of strategy? That is what I asked.
They are forming. He said that all politics is local. All politics is local. We have even tested the Mount Kenya in their forming and their strategies through the Olkalau by-election. That is one party. For what we call united opposition, it means keep your house in order. Wewe kwa chama chako. I've even heard people saying that the HE Kalonzo Musyoka hakona uzembe. Why are we not seeing you on the ground? He has to keep his house in order. Even when you come to the side ingine ya gava, UDA ni party kiwa peke yake, lazima watengeneze mambo yao. ODM ni party kiwa peke yake, lazima watengeneze mambo yao. And that's why unasikia wakilia story ambazo zinaitwa zoning and all these things. You must first be a scout. Scout anasema gafagia kwako, nifagie kwangu. By March huko hivyo, time yenye kila chama kishajipanga na kinajua, if it is karatasi ni sita, if it is MCA, this is our guy. Umeshika? If it is the senator, this is our guy. If it is the president, this is our guy. Saa hiyo sasa ndo wataka sasa kwa meza waseme juu sisi wote hatuwezi kuwa presidential candidate, tutashelve. But saa hizi ni mapema. That is what I said.
All right.
So they are not confused. They are on their own lens.
All right.
He said that politics si kama ya 202. Ati mtu atakuwa akiangaliwa vitu zenye anadu. Hizo ndo vitu hata bado tunasema Ruto must go. Ni juu ya vitu zenye amedu. From here ingie 2022 to now. Ni nini amedu? If we are going to talk about vitu zenye alidu from akiwa CS, then ni mingi sana. Huyo ni mtu hadi ametolewa hadi gava. But kwa hapo hivyo alipata liwe, akaingia 2013, akaingia 2017. So if you are going to talk about the things people have done, and we are looking at the positive and the negatives, mazeza Ruto negatives in outweigh positive. Kuongea ukweli wa Mungu can cheat, can die.
That is propaganda.
That is propaganda. You're right.
Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Because you will mention the June 2024, June 2025. You'll also mention. You'll also mention, let me tell you what you'll mention. You'll mention June 2024, June 2025. You'll mention shooting at the leg. You'll mention SHA, which apparently is working. You'll also mention the capitation, which is a disaster. All right, I mentioned capitation, but let's move on. Every politician will present their scorecard, and then we will get to decide. And I hope the opposition will not be fronting a one-term card as they talk to citizens, appealing to their emotions. And now that we are talking about appealing to emotions of citizens, we had this kuna mtu alilala BNB jana. What is his name? This MP mwenye alilala police station jana.
Alilala kwanza Citizen Royal Media, and then
akaenda BNB.
Mokoreni MP John Kabushia, he was the former speaker at Nyeri County.
So with that, I am coming to a position where the leaders are now leading the netizens or citizens out of fear. Yes. And I'm seeing this in both camps. We have the government leading the people with the narratives of wapige risasi kwa mguu, that is literally fear. We also have the opposition also talking of, we will get you out of your bed, we will not come to your funeral, we will not come to your, you will not, literally, you will not be part of us if you vote for this and this candidate. So that is fear and intimidation. But now the question is not even on what they are saying, which is bad, of course. The question is on the reaction, both from the government and the opposition. When Aden Duale made sort of almost similar sentiments and said that I will not appear before, the summons that you're giving me, I will not appear because someone else said so. So it's a push and pull between leaders, and we are selectively, what is this word? Calling out, that's not the word I'm looking for, but we are selectively calling out leaders for what they do according to, based on the advantages that we are having. So I want you to talk to us about this trend that I'm currently seeing in the country rising of hate speech. We heard this from all sides. The president anasema wao ni wajinga. Iyo ni matusi in public. Of course, we also have this other side, wakita wengine mafisi and all that. So I want you to give me what you feel about the trajectory that you're taking as a country in terms of taming our mouth.
Yes, sure.
Siasa ni chafu lakini.
Thank you very much. I think we should recognize the fact that Kenya is a very porous country in terms of we live in a country where we have different tribes, and if you attack a tribe, you know what happens. As a young Kenyan, I am very concerned by the rhetoric among some of our politicians that the sentiments they give out there are not meant to advance unity or our democracy. So, and in fact, I want to condemn with the strongest terms possible the MP we just mentioned, who, like, I don't know where he is, maybe you can tell us where he is now. I think he'll be presented in court today. I am not sure. That the utterances he made, I think over the weekend, were not meant to unite us as Kenyans. Coming to the institution that is mandated to check on these things, the NCIC, they should be very cautious, like how they deal with this things of hate speech. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were to lean on one side and leave the other side, that is a precursor for violence. Mm-hmm. So I just urge them to be very impartial when dealing with such. This one, there is no taking sides. Everyone should carry his or her own cross, because we of decent views, like my brother here, is in opposition, I'm in government, but we need a united.
He said you're in opposition.
I said, bro, you're sleeping, man. That is how we will defeat you in the next election. Yes, because you guys are sleeping, and you sleep in mkutanos, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying he's on the opposition, I'm in government. So, and of course all of us want a united country, and that is why we want the NCIC and the other relevant institution to be very impartial while dealing with such. This one, there's no taking sides. As a young, especially as a young person, I should say like everyone should carry his or her own cross, either from the opposition or from the government. And whenever you're found to have made utterances that are not geared towards a unity, just do not call your tribe to support you or to do what. Just carry your own cross, let the full force of the law take its place. And man, if you guilty man, see, that is your problem, Mazi.
But we are in a country where your power really determines how you will be treated by law enforcement. Because hadi leo Adendwale has nothing has been done.
Now that question should be answered by the NCIC. Why not? Why have they not summoned him? That is not for me to answer.
They did.
That is for the NCIC to. NCIC did someone Adendwale?
They summoned him, but he said he won't go.
He won't go. I am not aware of that, but if it was someone and he didn't go, that is wrong. He should have gone there, explain himself, like this is what I made, this is what I meant, and of course if he's innocent, he'll be set free.
All right. John?
We have an article, that is Article 10, National Values and Principles of Governance. Every other time I'm trying to talk about this constitution, I keep asking myself, what were the framers of this constitution looking at? What were they foreseeing? And what were they trying to prevent? So in this article number 10B, that is clause 2A and B, talks about those values. On A inaongelea kuhusu the general values that are mostly ziko instituted na ofisi, and on B zinaongea kuhusu mtu binafsi na si mingi, allow me nizipitie. On 2A, the national values and principles of governance include patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy, and participation of the people. Hizo ni vitu kila mtu as a collective we can do. Sure. B ni mtu kivyake. Human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, and non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized. So the country ndo isonge mbele vile inafaa, it must have a firm president. I said off air that there is a difference between a snake and a serpent. Serpent ukitoa kichwa moja, hydra inarudishaga ingine. So the NCIC of this country will be a barking dog if it cannot act. We have another one commission to EACC. Pia ile inakuwaga the same. But if you listen to them and ask, why don't you act? They will always talk about an order from above. Who is this above? What is the orders that he gives? We had a young youth, Ojwang, who was in cell, whereby it is believed that ukishashikwa na karao hivi, we are not even supposed to be concerned about your security. Inasemekanaga uko katika mikono ya serikali. It is the safest place you should be in, a police cell. But in that police cell, you get harassed. They on top of that torture you, rape you, and then unalive you. Then you get out there kwa watu ambao we call viongozi. Anyone mwenye ni mzee kukuliko, we are supposed to see them as the viongozi. We had Farah Maalim. And Farah Maalim said, if he was a president in a country where people are championing for Article 37 yenye inaongea kuhusu freedom of picketing, freedom of demonstration, ama Article 33 yenye inaongelea kuhusu freedom of expression, I would kill 5,000 Gen Zs. What was done to him? Nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Why and we have a constitution? Why and we have commissions that are set? They keep saying orders from above. Huyo kijana anaitwa Albert Ojwang, hata yeye akiondoka, it was the person mwenye alikuwa anafanya hizi vitu, hata yeye alikuwa anaongelea kuhusu order from above. Na hii above iko mahali saizi imekwamia kwa DIG. That kuna mkubwa, kuna IG. But huyu DIG hata yeye kwa nini ashikwi sana? Najua hata yeye atasema orders from above. We should deal with the above for us to be able to stop these things. If the above is firm, we can have these people in court tuwaone kotini. We have even Rigiji mwenyewe akiambia Murkomen, wewe ni CS, sitasema alisema CS wa nini, but wewe ni CS, una deal na security. Please, kama mtu amekosea, wapelekeni kotini tuwaone hapo. Tuacheni na hii low level ya abduction. Tushatoka huko kwote. Ikifika mahali that a media house has to protect me, hadi nalala huko, na mimi ni mtu ambaye katiba inaniambia niko na dignity. We have missed the point. Yes. And then ukiingia hii polisi unaingia on a weekend, wanataka wakushike na wakuweke hapo. But the constitution is clear, 24 hours nifikishe mbele ya koti niweze kujitetea. So ni sisi wenyewe tunaweza. We can say no as a people. When you can say no by electing the right people to this office, people with goodwill, people who understand this constitution not as a tool of control, but a tool of pushing sustainable leadership. Mimi nitasema hivyo.
All right. So it's with the people. We are the
ones. Ni sisi shida.
But the people, Morara Kibasha said that he left his cause because of the people's mindset.
Exactly. That's why we have to work on how
and
do we change that.
And that is what we are doing actually.
You remember why I said I'm writing Believe Become? Because we started talking about it even when I was writing. It is because for us to change, lazima mimi ni change personally. Lazima huyo change personally. Lazima wewe change personally. Ndio sasa as a collective tunasema Kenya yenyewe imebadilika. But if we don't do that, then wale wachache pekee wanasoma katiba, hao ndo wanakuwa na more power na hao ndo wanatufinya zaidi. Juu acha nikwambie, rais amesoma hii katiba na wanaelewa hakuna ofisi ufunguliwa hii nchi kama haiko kwa hii katiba. So sisi kitu cha kwanza tunafaa kufanya ni tukue more humble, tusome hii katiba, tuelewe hizo powers zetu. That is kuchange, that is the mind. Na tusipofanya hivyo, si bado tutaendelea kuachwa nyuma zile countries zingine ziki.
But are we really? Because I think we are fed propaganda so much that we fail to look at what is real and what is wrong. Because if you hear what our leaders say on top of vehicles, it is mostly kuamsha emotions fulani, tukasirike. But if you look objectively into this, we are still making the same mistake, because we are not voting for change, we are voting someone out
to punish.
And that is something that we'll get back to where we are right now, because if there is no government that is popular to the people. Any government will complain about every government, and any opposition figure always feel like an angel. That's why. But when we become objective, because if you walk around and ask people who will you vote, they will tell you sina mtu wa kuvote, lakini kukikuwa kwa ballot Ruto na Gachagua nitavotia Ruto. Why is that? Because people are becoming objective. But anyway, let's move forward to predictions that the People Daily have given us. They are talking of 10 counties that will decide Kenya's next president. Several counties have been given there, with the 10 counties having more than 600,000 votes. To begin with, we have Nairobi, Kiambu, Nakuru, Meru, Kakamega, Machakos, Bungoma, Kisii, Mombasa, and Murang'a, in that order. Mount Kenya counties in that list is 1, 2. Is Nakuru Mount Kenya?
No, it's Rift Valley.
So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 of them from Mount Kenya. That is Murang'a, Machakos, Meru, Kiambu, Nairobi. And then we have the Rift Valley. Kuna moja kametokea hapo. The Coastal Region moja, Western 2, Kisii moja. So hata kuna hapo Luo Nyanza wenye ni backbone ya serikali, broad-based government. Talk to us about these numbers and what they mean to you.
Thank you so much. I think the counties that we've just mentioned, they are cosmopolitan counties, except maybe, I don't know, maybe Murang'a,
Kisii.
Kisii
is also metropolitan.
Metropolitan.
Yes.
It's a metropolitan. Yes. No, but anyway, I think the author of this, I don't agree with him, because one, you can't say, for example, Bungoma. Bungoma, in the last election, the Speaker of the National Assembly delivered over 60% of the votes. I think this guy is putting into the fact that Linda Mwananchi, which is led by Edwin Sifuna, who comes from there, has changed the matrix in Bungoma, which I don't think is the case there. We still have Bungoma very intact, and our speaker will deliver very well to the winning team, of course, of the president. These other counties, because of the development the president has, the president has balanced development in Kenya. You're aware of that, eh? No. You don't aware. Let me educate you now.
You won't agree.
Let me educate him. The president, the current president, has really tried to balance development everywhere in the country, ranging from northeastern to the coast to eastern to, I don't know, Turkana to... Do you know a road called Kotulo? Have you ever heard of such a road? Imagine, even me, I didn't know. The president just mentioned the other day.
Kotulo, Rama.
You know the road, eh? Courtesy of the president. And you know that road now is 60% done. I'm telling you, 60% done. So these counties that the 10 of them you've mentioned will vote based on the development that has arrived at their counties. And I know very well all of these counties, Nairobi, Machakos, the affordable housing, the roads that are done there, the hostels, you know what I'm saying? They will, of course, lean towards the president. But there's just one county I'll not mention, which I'm not sure here how they will vote. But we are in politics, and of course anything is possible. You have to work hard to get votes, and I think my brother also is working hard to be the MC of Kawa West. Is it Kawa West? Yeah.
But Ruto is a very hardworking man.
Yeah. Thank you, my sister. It is good to recognize.
He is hardworking.
He's very hardworking. So I think that is my take.
All right. And that is fair, because being in this industry, you find yourself talking to so many people. Sure. And if you listen to some people, the silent majority who will be telling you that they will be voting President William Ruto. Their reason will be, I went to Mount Kenya and mtu alikuwa anatoka kwa boma yake anaingia kwa lami. Mimi ndio nifike kwa lami, nimepigwa na vumbi, but right now kuna barabara inajengwa kwetu. So that might look like a little thing to someone who is used to roads, but for someone who has not seen that road, it's a big thing. So let me get to you, John. Yes. What do you make of these numbers?
I love talking numbers, not because I'm a mathematician, not because I'm a good science student, but because I understand that numbers don't lie, and the numbers can be used to lie. But on these numbers, first of all, to tell my brother,
yes, sir,
these numbers are not by the newspaper. They've just extracted from the IEBC register.
Yes.
So vile ziko hatuwezi zibit zenyewe.
No, I didn't say I'm not disputing the numbers.
Okay.
I'm disputing the counties.
Okay. So according to the editor here, they're saying that these 10 counties are key for you to become a president in this country. And all these places are cosmopolitan. Ni places zenye si tribal vile, unaona, inaweza kuwa ni kama ni Kiambu iko Mount Kenya.
Sure.
But Kiambu is a bedroom of people of Nairobi, and these people working in Nairobi are not Kikuyus or people of Mount Kenya peke. That is why in Kahawa Wendani, a former MCA was Cyrus Omondi, who is a Luo, and then his cousin took over, who is a Luo, and then in the 2022 general election, the MCA for Kahawa Wendani, which is in Mount Kenya in Kiambu County, is a Luya by the name Sain Simiu Brian. Why? Because he Kiambu yenye kona 2.1 million, hizi numbers sio za Wakikuyu peke. Nairobi the same, but things have changed since 2022. Ukiingia 2022, Nairobi ilikuwa inajulikana kama bedroom ya baba. Why? because Nairobi as a capital inakuwaga ni place ya tusikizane, tufanye hivi na hivi, uniachie. Kiti ya gavana inakaga kama kuachiwa. So 2013 Nairobi gave ODM governor, that is Kidero. 2017 they gave now the Jubilee Party Akamba, that is Kioko Mike Mbuvi Sonko. In 2022 they gave Aluya through UDA. Umeshika? Through UDA, Bila Baba. So it was the very first time that in this capital we are having a governor, but the county assembly, he does not command the majority. Because the majority of county assembly are the Azimio, the ODMs, watu hao wawili watatu wa Jubilee, na kuna wawili wa nini wa Wiper, and then kulikuwa gana huyu wa Kariobangi North mwenye alikuwa ni independent, na Roysambu Ward iko na independent. But what is happening today? There is no Baba. So people are shifting alliances and allegiances. That is why you are seeing we have some people wenye walikuwa ni Baba people, and they are ready for the governorship. I'm talking about people like Makadara MP George Aladwa, who is going for the governor. I'm talking about people like...
Not Nairobi.
Not Nairobi. Yeah. I'm talking about people like Babu Owino, who is going for the governorship. That is still of Nairobi. And I am talking about watu sasa wametoka. Mtu kama Sifuna alikuwa na 716,000 votes. That is about 716,000 from this nini. But hizo kura zake zote 2027 zitakuwa ni zake, anajitafutia zake, hapei president mwenye hako. Sawa? Mount Kenya isha declare their stand. In fact, this Kiambu yenye imebaki hapa hivi ndo the only place in Mount Kenya iko na watu wengi sana wenye wako UDA. I'm talking about all MPs bado wako UDA. It's the only place in Mount Kenya UDA has something they can feel. The other place is in Mbeere North. Na Mbeere North, judging by the by-election yenye ilifanyika pale, number 1 was a UDA candidate, number 2 was a DP, not DCP, DP candidate ile ya Justin Muturi, and the closing margin ilikuwa kadogo. In all Kalau, it is 83% vis-a-vis 13%, meaning hiyo haikuwa by election, hiyo ilikuwa kuongeleshana na kusema it is this ama this. But tuko na counties zingine hapa hivi kama Bungoma, kama Mombasa, kwenye bado kuna dent kubwa sana yenye ina dent the rais wa saizi. Upande wa Kilifi County, the vocal and powerful Aisha Jumwa tayari yashatangaza ya kwamba Ruto amemfinya sana, amemchocha sana. In fact wanaita Ruto mtu wa chocha. Amemchocha sana na ametoka. Ni wangapi wenye wametoka? Hizi numbers venye ziko, they are making the government to fear, not the united opposition.
Okay.
The united opposition have nothing to lose. They are there because they have lost. Mwenye kwa hapa hivi analia about something to lose is the president.
All right. Before I get your closing remark, let me read 1-2 comments from those watching us online. Sure. We have Marlon saying that the opposition are not disoriented. It's called strategy. I think it's the government that has panicked, because if you don't know I think he meant the enemy. You're fighting, then you definitely panic. And Trevor says that so nyinyi watutam after mmefanya vitu zote hizo, how do you plan to on gaining back the trust of the people? Because this is also key in this whole saga. We have Joe saying that given the fact that there is a group coming into elections for the first time, Gen Z, we should expect changes and not think that how things played in 2022 will repeat it. Let me get your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. I want to tell the viewer that we are still in government, so we are still working. We are not back to kwa nini za magari ukujo. And you know, yesterday I was very happy. The Lexus 570 imetoka. Now you will be seeing it, you will be feeling it, my friend. But nonetheless, I want to say Kenya is ours, young people. Let us do our politics in a manner that is in accordance with the Constitution, by respecting ourselves and all of us. This guy is vying for MCA. I think he has competitors. So respect your competitors, and in that manner, Kenya will be in Singapore in very few years.
Okay, we are still going to Singapore. All right. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Singapore
less than a minute.
Kweli, as namaliza nasema asante. First of all, show imekuwa very insightful. I want to talk about your public trust as namalizia. Na iko pale hivyo kwa Constitution article number 10 that we as the people, public trust sisi ndio tunafaa kuonyesha huyu ako na public trust ama hana. It comes from goodwill. We have to do better as a country. We have to do better as voters. We also have to do better as the youth of this country. For example, mtu kama mimi nilishasimama na nikasema nitakuwa kwa hiyo ballot, whether I have money or I don't have money. Because I understand there are some things we can never buy with money. We can never buy human dignity with money. We cannot buy goodwill with money. We cannot buy respect for one another with money. Ni mimi tu nikae chini, niheshimu Andy, niheshimu hawa. Mimi hautawahi nisikia siku hata moja nikitusi kiongozi fulani, because I believe in issue-based politics. Ndio tusaidiane, na hii siasa hainaga uadui. Kesho tunaweza jipata kwa meza moja tukikula pamoja. Kwa nini nikutusi leo na kesho nitakuhitaji?
All right, the date is the 4th of August 2026, Tuesday at 9:56. When Ojwang Mariam said tutawahi mpata akitusi mtu. I am holding that. I am holding that. Internet never forgets. All right. Our online audience, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Biashara Tuesday. And we've had a very insightful discussion on the state of the nation. We've been joined by Andrew and Ojwang Mariam, very insightful gentlemen who have helped us understand how best can we be better voters in the coming elections. So until next time, it's bye.